your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Alan Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
And a very pleasant good Friday morning to you. Welcome into the Alan Stiles Show right here, Sacktown Sports, 1140. Scott Marsh in for him one last time. Kyle Ledbetter, of course, here as always. Alan will be back on Monday for Kings Media Day. Things get started for the Sacramento Kings next week. The Media Day on Monday, and then training camp on Tuesday. We'll get into all of that over the next few hours as well. So much to talk about. The great thing about filling in for Alan, especially on a Friday, is that you don't lack for things to talk about, and we're looking forward to bringing it all to you over these next 4 hours. Kyle and I are with you until 2 o'clock, getting you ready for the drive guys who are out on a remote today. We'll get into that also. We've got Ryder Cup going on. One of my favorite events, in fact, one of the biggest sporting events I have never been to. And that is an event that is on my bucket list. It might be at the top of the bucket list. We'll get into bucket list sporting events. What is a sporting event that you have not been to that you are just dying to go to? This Ryder Cup, especially with it on American soil in New York, would just be fabulous to be at right now. Of course, we'll get into all the Sunday football games. We'll look at the 49ers preview versus Jacksonville. Can San Francisco get to 4-0 on the year with all the injuries they have? They are at home. We'll talk about that. We'll, of course, break down, because you haven't had enough of the latest with Jonathan Kuminga and the latest on the ongoing saga there with Kuminga, the Warriors, possibly with the Sacramento Kings, maybe. As you heard Dave say, will Kuminga be in a Kings uniform on Monday? I'm going to say no to that. He asked me if I was going to answer that question. That's a flat out no, but will he be in a Kings uniform before the start of the season? That's a different question. We can certainly get into all of that. We're going to have Ken Korek on the program today as well. We're going to talk a little Oakland A's baseball. They finish up the regular season, and for them, their season. Did I say Oakland?
You right off the bat hit
Did
the
I say
Oakland A's baseball.
Man, oh man.
And we have a rule. We got to call it out every time someone
Not
does
only
it.
call it out, you got to have a bumper or something for that.
Let's
yeah.
call them by their name, which is the formerly Oakland, now Sacramento, headed to Las Vegas Athletics of Anaheim.
I've heard you say that, but it takes too long. The show's over by the time you get through that.
Yep,
so.
because the A's
The
are,
Athletics.
That works.
There you go.
Last series of the season.
It is. All right, we're going to have Ken Korek on at 12 o'clock to talk about the last few games for the A's this year and where they're going, at least on the field. We'll get into all the NFL games, of course, college football as well. We talked about UC Davis in town tomorrow night. We'll have the game here at 7 o'clock. Sacramento State at home as well. Top 25, some great top 25 games to get into. Scott Gordon, my broadcast partner for the UC Davis games, will join me. We'll break down all the college football action. Most importantly, we want to hear from you over the next few hours. You can give us a call, 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Text us as well. Our text line is up and running, and we would love to hear from you on that as well. All right, Kyle, we have set the scene. How are you feeling on this Friday, my friend?
Oh, I'm excited, Scott. It's going to be a big sports weekend, just a big weekend in general. So I am about, 3 hours and 55 minutes with you away from getting onto an excellent weekend.
Indeed. Okay, I know you don't golf. I know you don't necessarily care about golf.
I mean, I can hit it pretty center.
You can.
Sure. I've played golf before. My grandpa was very big into it, and then after he passed away, I haven't played in years. But I could hit it pretty straight.
But when's the last time you've gone out on a weekend just to play golf?
I would say a couple years.
Okay, it's been a while. You're not playing a lot of golf.
I'm not, no.
You're probably not following every weekend PGA Tour event on TV.
I am not.
Okay, so with the Ryder Cup now, Ryder Cup going on, do you have any interest in Ryder Cup?
I am interested enough to follow what's happening, but not enough to, I'm going to sit down and spend 2 hours watching what's happening.
Fair enough. Okay, so the Ryder Cup has me captivated. Obviously, I love golf and get a chance to work on the Golf to Go show with Frank LaRosa, heard here every week. So I'm a big golf guy, and I think this is my favorite event right now. I mean, more so, I've been fortunate enough to go to the Masters, which is the best yearly tournament, in my opinion. But Ryder Cup, to me, is even a step above that, especially with it being in New York, especially with the Americans trying to win the cup back. To me, this has the most drama of any golfing event out there. And if I could be there right now, that is the one sporting event I would love to be at.
So help me out here. So today it's going to be groups of 2 against groups of 2.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they've finished the foursomes in the morning. They're playing the 4-ball now. So basically, the first 4 groups that went out, they had to play each other's ball.
Yes.
So they're sharing one ball, alternate shot. Now they're playing their own ball. Best
Got
ball
it.
wins the hole. Okay, so. But it just looks gorgeous back there at Bethpage, one of the toughest public courses in America. The crowd is beyond fired up for this one. This is just a marquee event. I feel like this obviously is the kind of the equivalent of World Cup for golf right now with what's going on. And you know, it's just on such a huge stage right now. And the World Cup is kind of like for a lot of soccer people, they don't necessarily follow MLS or are watching weekly games. But obviously when it comes to World Cup, you've got the American flag flying. Everybody's going to tune into that as they do across the world. This, to me, is the equivalent on the golf side right now to see if the Americans can get this cup back.
So this is the first day of 3?
Yep. So
Got it.
same thing tomorrow. They'll play the foursomes in the morning, 4-ball in the afternoon, and then everybody plays singles on Sunday. So all 12 members who are a part of both teams will play at a Ryder Cup match against each other. It's basically hole to hole. They're not keeping cumulative scores here, right? So that's what makes this so much fun too, right? You're not keeping 200 par scores, anything like that. It is just each hole is worth a point if you win it. So that's, to me, what makes this even more exciting right now.
Well, this is going to be very exciting then. We got Ryder Cup going on throughout the show today. I don't know if we have any day baseball, but we've had day baseball the last few days. It's always fun when you get live sports during this time slot. So
No doubt about it. All right.
watch the Ryder Cup.
Yep. Let's get into last night. Did you watch the Seahawks-Cardinals game?
I did. It was a very compelling football game for, I'd say, about the last 30 minutes. Everything else was Cardinals booing their offense off the field at halftime, and the Seahawks should have put it away early, but then they got some holding calls and missed field goals and touchdowns that should have been touchdowns but weren't. So the Seahawks just kind of let them hang around, and then things got spicy right at the end. It was a thoroughly enjoyable football game.
It was a great finish.
Yeah,
I
would
don't know if
say
it was thoroughly enjoyable throughout. To your point, the third quarter was kind of a yawner.
Yeah, I mean, and even the first half, I mean, the Cardinals' offense didn't have anything. I mean, there were interceptions and stuff, so things were happening, but it was all in all pretty enjoyable football game.
It was. Great game. I hated the finish. I mean, okay, walk-off field goal, we see that a lot. That's fine. But here's my rub on last night, and it's more about the new kickoff rules than anything else. Arizona comes back. They score 2 touchdowns late in the game to tie the game. And then they've got to kick off, and to try to pin the other team back, you have your kicker who's got to get it within the 20-yard line to let it roll so they don't give up enough field position, so it's not just an automatic touchback to the 35-yard line where the other team has to go basically 20, 30 yards max to kick a field goal to win the game. I mean, to me, it ruined the finish of that game. And then when the kicker could not get the ball past the 20-yard line, it landed outside the quote-unquote zone, which I'm still learning all the terminology about. Seattle gets the ball at the 40-yard line. I mean, they're basically in field goal range before they even start their series with the way field goal kickers kick the football these days.
Yeah, it was the equivalent of the old school kick the ball out of bounds, or the kicker, whiffed and the ball went out of bounds is what happened to the Cardinals. And
yeah, it's ridiculous, and I don't like the new kickoff rules, and I think last night highlighted why I don't like them. I mean, you can't give an offensive team that much of an advantage. To give them the ball starting at the 40-yard line is crazy, especially the way teams kick field goals now. I mean, literally, you're 1 2 first downs from being in field goal range in today's age.
Yeah, the thing that changed this offseason, because obviously this kickoff rule isn't necessarily new, but the thing that changed is moving the touchback out to the 35 to the point where no one wants to do a touchback anymore.
Right, they're trying to encourage returns.
Yeah, and I've joked throughout the process, every return goes to the 27-yard line. Just every time. So they field it, players have just enough time. If you beat a block, maybe you'll get to the 32, but most of the time it's at the 27 anyways, which goes to my thinking of the whole thing. This is all just headed to just start at the 25 anyways, or
35.
start at the 30.
Right. If you want to encourage teams to return kickoffs, just if you fair catch it, you start at the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
Or the 15-yard line or whatever it is, right? But they're not really trying to encourage that. They really want to get the play out of the game altogether, but there'd be too much blowback for that.
Well, I think that at this point, I don't know how much that would be an unpopular choice at this point. I mean, people don't seem to like the new kickoff rules. They like the idea of having kicks returned, but none of these are going back to the house.
It used to be, the most exciting play. How many kickoff returns for touchdowns have there been so far?
I believe there were 3 last year. I don't know if there's been any this year.
I can't think of one.
So
and you're talking about 3 over an entire season.
Yeah.
Last year.
Well, and the difference last year, though, was that they were all just being kicked out the end zone because they were like, whatever, well, you can take the ball to 30. And they changed the rule to disincentivize it. And it very much has, because I think touchbacks went down from like 70-something% to in the 20% range now. So teams do not want to put the ball at the 35, but it's very confusing, and it seems like not enjoyable or taking away from the viewing experience at times for people. Case in point, the Cardinals lose on a kickoff rule that most people didn't realize at first was a kickoff rule.
Nobody knew that rule. Nobody knew the ball was coming back to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, or that it was, the equivalent. I forgot what they called it out, landing zone violation or whatever.
Right, because it landed outside the 20-yard line. That's the other thing we're learning, all this terminology. You've got the landing zone is the 20 to the goal line.
Yes.
And the ball has to be kicked within that landing range.
I guess the tough thing for me is I want to give football credit for being willing to change the aesthetic look. So often these sports leagues are afraid of change because they think it'll be aesthetically displeasing and people will be disinterested.
But there was nothing wrong with the kickoff before other than they were trying to protect for injury, which is understandable.
They had decided the problem was every kickoff was just kicked through the back of the end zone, which is why they went to this new version.
Sure, an easier rule is obviously move the kick back. Don't kick from the 35-yard line. If that's truly the case, you just kick off from the 25-yard line.
Maybe that's the solution. In my book...
But no, I think they're really trying to prevent people getting on a flat run for 50, 60 yards. And that's why they have the teams lining up not with the kicker and not being able to take off before the ball's caught. I mean, those are all about safety.
Yes.
Now, some of the other things could be about the touchback, to your point.
Well, that was the original idea was, yes, we're going to have them come closer for safety reasons. But last year, they were still just kicking the ball out of the end zone every time because they're like, whatever, you can have it at the 30. And now,
so the new rules this year are trying to eliminate that.
Yes, the new rules are incentivizing this short kick where they feel
the problem, and I don't know how this happened, but it feels like overnight field goal kickers are now 55 and beyond, no problem. 65 is within people's wheelhouses.
Yes, welcome.
70 is not a stretch anymore.
Welcome to the evolution of football kicking, where
it's unbelievable, right? I mean, it's probably the most drastic difference in the game.
Kicking and punting, you can kind of lump it together because all these punters are able to just get the ball to bounce at the 10-yard line and go straight up and all that stuff. Yes, I think that's the most noticeable difference because
it's becoming too easy. That's the issue. And for Arizona to come back like they did last night to get that game deserved to go to overtime. Or at least Seattle to have to make a few plays to get within field goal range.
I think we would have liked to have seen overtime because, again, Seattle left so many points on the board in that game between Jackson Smith and Jigba holding on a touchdown, the kicker missing a field goal that would have put them up 3 scores at that point. Like, Seattle let Arizona come back, and I think we would have liked to have seen them go to overtime because
Yes.
that would have been enjoyable. But ultimately, Seattle was on the precipice of blowing the game, and all it did was give the Cardinals a chance to then blow the game themselves right at the end.
But Arizona had 2 legitimate drives to score touchdowns late in the game.
Right.
Okay.
And my kind of point was just it wouldn't have mattered if Seattle had just not held on a touchdown run, made a field goal that was within reasonable distance. Seattle killed them for 3 quarters. I mean, just dominated the Cardinals.
I'm with you with all of that.
Yeah.
That game deserved a better finish than because there's a landing zone violation allowing Seattle to basically have the ball in field goal range.
Yeah.
The rules need to be better than that.
Well, and Seattle had to just convert one play, which the Giants and Cowboys game from a couple weeks ago was relatively similar,
Yep.
where they got the touchback. They started at the 35, and it was like, well, all the Cowboys got to do is complete one pass because
Yep.
Aubrey can hit it from the 50-yard line, basically, and he did.
All right. Again, our phone number is 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. All right, let's move on that. What did we learn about the NFC West? Because people are talking about the NFC West as if it might be the next best division in football to the AFC West. I don't know if we saw that last night from Seattle or Arizona. I didn't look at either one of these teams and think, my goodness, this is a team that could make a playoff run.
Well, Arizona is kind of squandering their best chance to get into this playoff race, but the thing that I've thought about this division all year is that none of them are going to have to play a necessarily difficult schedule because they got the perfect break of they play the AFC South and the NFC South this year, 2 divisions that are probably right at the bottom of the NFL in terms of talent level. And that's half the schedule for all of these NFC West teams. And as long as they take care of business like the Rams had done, like the Cardinals had done, the Niners beat the Saints, obviously. As long as they took care of business against those teams, all these teams would have a shot at the playoffs.
That is true, and especially in the case of the Rams, who are playing a first-tier schedule. The Rams schedule is way different than the Niners schedule this year. I know we talked about that on the last show, but just look at the teams that the Rams are having to play at the top end across the league.
Yeah.
I mean, the Niners are not playing the Eagles this year.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to have to play the best teams from a year ago.
Yeah, 14 of the 17 games are the same for both teams, all that stuff. But I just kind of looked at it like every team in the NFC West is going to have a shot at the playoffs come December. And it started to bear that self out at the beginning of the year, but it's been a tough ever since Arizona was up 27-3 on the Panthers back in week 2. It's been a pretty tough stretch for them. So maybe they are truly 4th out of 4 in that division.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that this game didn't bear well for the NFC West having a case for being possibly the second best division in football. The other thing to keep in mind here, it's a Thursday night game. And again, I don't really have a problem with Thursday night football. In fact, I like watching Thursday night football. So as a consumer, I like having the extra night. But why do you put division games on Thursday nights? Because the division games mean everything in the NFL. And next week, we're going to see the same thing. It's going to be San Francisco and LA, the Rams, next week, Thursday night football. Why, in what's probably the biggest game in that division, why do you put it on a Thursday night?
Because Amazon's paying a lot of money and they want to get that package.
I get that, but there's a lot of good games you could have on Thursday night that aren't division games.
No, I'm with you on that. And I thought it was fair when they used to do the thing where every team took a turn on Thursday night. And obviously they don't do that anymore just because Amazon was like, we're tired of getting Bears-Panthers on Thursday. And they gave them kind of the ESPN scheduling thing. But you're right. I mean, the both NFC West teams having to play the short week Thursday night game is going to matter a lot because, like we've been mentioning, these NFC West games are going to matter so much
No
when
doubt.
all 4 of these teams are probably going to win 8 games at least.
No doubt. I mean, these are huge games. And so Seattle getting through, and they're in a good space right now at 3-1. I mean, they're in a pretty good spot. We're going to get into the Niners. They've got Jacksonville at home, a chance to get to 4-0. In the NFC West. So we'll talk about that as well as, again, coming up today, we're going to have Garrett Johnston on. He is our golf guru. We're going to talk about the Ryder Cup, the format. Garrett's become real close with Roy McIlroy. Garrett's from our area. We'll talk about his breakdown with Rory and Ryder Cup and just why is the U.S. just not as good in this event? I mean, even at home today, they lose the first 3 matches in the foursomes. They did salvage a point in the final matchup there with Schauffele and Cantlay, but looking forward to getting into that. As we mentioned, Ken Korek will be joining us also. We'll talk about the A's, but I want to talk about baseball overall too. So many things last weekend for the wild cards, the debate of the MVP. Is it Raleigh? Is it Judge? Lots of thoughts on that also. Of course, our full menu of NFL games. We'll go through every one, give you our predictions for that. College football is huge. As we know, this is probably the best weekend for college football so far this year. There are several great top 25 matchups. Oregon at Penn State. That's the whiteout game. That's one of my favorite college football games of the year, to see 110,000 people all in white in Happy Valley. And the Oregon Ducks might be the best team in college football. The other one that's a little bit underrated, you can appreciate this because you were up at Washington for a game earlier, but the Huskies are taking on Ohio State at home tomorrow in Seattle. Huskies aren't ranked yet. They're a good football team, but I think they're going to give the Buckeyes all they can handle tomorrow.
A classic Big Ten battle, huh? Ohio State traveling to Seattle, Washington for a 12:30 local time.
Are you
start.
still bugged by that?
I mean, it's just college football. It's the natural evolution of a sport trying to become a corporation, basically.
Well, they are a corporation.
Yes.
Okay.
But,
so you remove college football almost from college athletics at the highest football level.
yeah.
Okay.
The difference was, I think, in the past, the purpose of the people who had the money in college football was less about making money. It was nice if they did, but they were willing to spend their own money to try and make Alabama or Oklahoma a national powerhouse. Now this is just like corporatization of college football. This was inevitable. The 2 conferences are going to merge into one conference eventually. There's going to be revenue sharing, all that stuff. This is just the growing pains that go along.
Fine, but for the game tomorrow, Washington and Ohio State, it's going to be a heck of a football game.
Oh, it's going to be great. And Washington might not be there yet in terms of getting all the talent to compete with defending national champion Ohio State, but stranger things have happened in college football.
That's true. All right, that and a lot more. When we come back, our 49ers preview, we're going to break down the game on Sunday. Can the Niners get to 4-0, a game you'll hear Sunday right here on Sacktown Sports 1140. When we come back, our 49ers conversation right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Are you thinking about buying a new car? Well, maybe you're on the fence. Let me help you out. Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the first time I stepped into the MB of Stockton showroom, I knew I made the right choice. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV. It's comfortable, stylish, and most importantly, it's safe. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. It's just a short drive down I-5 or anytime at mbfstockton.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say, we can beat that price, and usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company, American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back into the Alan Stiles Show right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh in for Alan Stiles. He'll be back on Monday, Kings Media Day. We will have wall-to-wall coverage of that, so keep it tuned all day long. We'll be broadcasting out from Media Days. The Kings are back in town getting ready to start the 25-26 season. We'll break down all things Sacramento next hour. Of course, the renewed trade talks between the Warriors and the Kings that have been reported. We'll get into that also. We're also talking about a sporting event that maybe you have not been able to go to, but is still on your bucket list with the Ryder Cup going on right now. That's the one event that I really want to go to that I haven't had a chance to do. Another one's a Notre Dame football game, which I'm actually going to get to do that a little bit later on in the year. I'm looking forward to doing that. But Ryder Cup, especially on U.S. soil, is mine. We'll get into our Niners conversation. You can call us 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Kyle, how about you? I need to ask you, what is one sporting event that you haven't been to that is on your bucket list? I'm sure there's many right now. You're still young.
I'm still young. I've still got chances in this industry to go to places, which, by the way, just for your sake, I know it's many years in front of us, but 2033, the Ryder Cup is coming to Olympic Club in San Francisco.
Okay. That's the year I'm going to have to go.
That might want to circle it on your calendar right now.
33 is when I will finally get to the Ryder Cup.
For September 2033.
Yes.
You're a young man, so you've got time.
I should make it, hopefully. Yeah. All right, as for you, what?
I've gone back. I mean, there's obvious answers.
Just give one or two.
Yeah, you could say World Series and
what would
NBA
you say?
Finals.
I'm asking you.
But the one for me is I want to go to Arrowhead while Patrick Mahomes is still playing.
I like that.
Ideally a playoff game, but and there's going to be plenty of opportunities for those. But at some point, I would like to see Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in person.
But he just turned 30, right?
Just turned 30.
Yeah.
Probably not going to make it with Kelsey around, but at some point, I got to go see him and Andy and
Are you
those guys
hoping
play.
just because you want to see Taylor still? Does that matter or not?
I mean, once Kelsey's retired, she's never going to be there again.
I know. All right, good. If you've got that sporting event, let us know on that. We'd love to hear from that also. All right, let's break down some 49ers conversation here. We talked a lot of Seahawks and Cardinals in our first segment. The Niners come in, again, at home. Again, favorites against the Jags, which makes sense. Although the Jags are better this year, currently 2-1. They beat the Panthers and the Texans. That doesn't necessarily say a whole lot. They lost to the Bengals. We know they're kind of a mess right now, though I hate to say that because I love Jake Browning, a local kid, but missing Joe Burrow terribly. But the big issue for the Niners, of course, can they overcome all the injuries? The latest, some conversation, Brandon Ayuk, John Lynch talking about him this week. And, we thought he was coming back sooner than later. It doesn't sound like it from the 49ers GM.
No, I believe it was right before the season. Shanahan said, we're targeting week 6 for Brandon Ayuk, and now week 6 is around the corner, and John Lynch is saying Brandon Ayuk is not close to returning. He went on the KNBR yesterday, I believe, and talked about how Ayuk's ACL tear was not clean. It included other damage, so it's going to take even longer than maybe Shanahan had alluded to back during training camp.
All right, so that just adds to the 49er woes. I mean, the seasoning injury, the Bosa, is still the one that's looming the largest right now.
Well, and what's going to happen at the quarterback position? Because you've got Brock Purdy limited in practice. You've got Mac Jones limited in practice. We found out with Chris and Kayla earlier this week, apparently Adrian Martinez is their backup quarterback now. So who knows what's going to happen with the quarterback position. But when you lose Defensive Player of the Year for the season, all of a sudden it takes on another. Like, at least with Kittle, it's like Kittle's coming back.
Sure.
Jennings is coming back. He's not coming back this year.
No question. Obviously, it's the biggest loss. I mean, Purdy probably is going to play on Sunday. I mean, the way Mac Jones finished that game on Sunday, I got to think that Purdy's in better health right now than Mac Jones is.
I mean, the fact that we have to ask the question is not a great sign.
They might rotate by series right now with the way they're banged up.
I mean, someone's going to be inactive. I don't think it's going to be Mac Jones because Mac Jones has been dealing with this. Yeah. I'm sure it's a pain threshold thing, but Brock Purdy does turf toes. We've been talking about it for weeks. It's just
just ask Joe Burrows. I mean, that's what he had the surgery for. That's why he's out 3 months.
And the one I always remember is Julio Jones years ago. It was like 3 weeks, became 4 weeks, became 6 weeks, became 8 weeks. And you just never know with the turf toe.
All right. Well, the 49ers, again, from a schedule standpoint, are benefiting right now because they're able to kind of survive what's going on. I mean, Jacksonville is certainly a team that doesn't have what you would call a quality win at this point. On the road, having to come all the way out to the West Coast. Trevor Lawrence, gets so much conversation. Another quarterback who was supposed to be the heir apparent is maybe the best quarterback in the league, right up there in the echelon. He's going to be with Josh Allen. He's going to be with Mahomes. He's going to be, with the stars of this league. It hasn't worked out that way for him so far.
He's been a franchise quarterback, but he has not been a star quarterback.
No.
And
he's gotten paid like the franchise quarterback for sure. He got the huge contract.
He did, and I justified it at the time because the Jaguars were never going to be able to do better than him. But this is now his third coach, fourth offensive coordinator, and he's only in year 5. I mean, the Jaguars certainly have not set him up to succeed, and that's kind of the conversation anytime you bring up Trevor Lawrence. Is it his fault? Is it the Jaguars' fault? Who's letting down who? It always comes back to that.
Yeah, we'll see, because at Clemson, he was a star, no doubt about that, and he had the quarterback look, the size, the frame, the arm, everything else. He just hasn't developed yet, and you look at quarterbacks at an equivalent level. What, Justin Herbert's now in his 6th year, I want to say?
Yep.
And look where he's at right now. And look where Trevor Lawrence is at. So it just hasn't worked out for him. Of course, the Jaguars drafted Travis Hunter, thinking he would play two-way. It looks pretty much like he's playing defense at this point.
Yeah, we had the numbers earlier this week, but basically he went from playing like 9% of the defensive snaps to 58% of the defensive snaps last week. He only got 2 targets on offense. And Kayla, who was here earlier this week, pointed out, like, part of that is the Jaguars have a ton of injuries in the secondary, and they've just needed bodies to play, but they are sacrificing his offense to play defense.
But in this game on Sunday, there's not a lot to cover for the 49ers. I mean, Pearsall maybe is who Hunter's going to be tracking down.
That's the third leading receiver in the NFL, Ricky Pearsall.
No, he's had a great start, no doubt about it.
No, and you're right. It's Tonjes and I think Marquez Valdez-Scantling
up on Tonjes.
Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And Jacksonville has made that call that they need him on defense, and he was a defensive player for his high school and college career. He happened to be wide receiver and played great at Colorado, but his best skill set is on the defensive side of the ball, and that's where Jacksonville's playing him right now.
Well, we'll see how that works out. But for the 49ers against Jacksonville, despite all the injuries, I like them at home on Sunday. I still do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest Jacksonville guy for sure. And look, the 49ers got outgained. Time of possession went in favor of the Cardinals. They had the bad play at the end of the game blocking for Jones that led to the safety. Like, the Cardinals were in a position to win that game, and the 49ers...
Sure. The Cardinals should have won that game.
I wasn't going to say that as far on, for these Niner fans.
Give Mac Jones credit. He led the team down the field when he absolutely had to. The Niners did not play well. It's not like the Cardinals played well either.
No, but they snuck a victory out against Arizona. And while Jacksonville I don't think is as good as Arizona...
I don't think they are either.
There is still the underlying questions of where are you going to get production from for San Francisco? Because so many of these wins have been 20 points, 17 points. Defense is holding up at the end.
What's interesting, though, is McCaffrey's been as productive as he's ever been.
Yeah.
And if he can hold up, I mean, that's obviously where you're getting the production from.
Well, and certainly Christian McCaffrey is still very effective, but we saw it in Carolina. It would be Christian McCaffrey putting up these absurd stat lines, and the Panthers would win 5 or 6 games. That was always the story. And I'm not saying that this Niners team is less talented than those Panthers teams. Those Panthers teams stunk, but there's kind of the underlying concern of just how far can Christian McCaffrey really get you on offense.
Yeah. All right. Well, the Niners have a good chance to remain undefeated on Sunday. We'll continue to talk about that throughout the program. A couple on the text line for the sporting event they'd like to go to. One person chiming in, I want to be able to go to LeBron's last game. The one thing I'll say, I got to go to LeBron's first game here in Sacramento. Of course, that famous game when he started off against the Fab Five for the Kings. And the Kings won the game, but you could tell the King was LeBron James. He was unbelievable as that first-year player out of Akron. And you could tell his career was going to be insane, and it obviously has been. The hype for that game, Kyle, was insane. And I know you were barely checking anything out at that time, if at all, but that was so much fun that night. The Nike commercial made from Arco Arena at the time with LeBron. There's been no hype since of somebody coming straight from high school to the league. I don't care if you mention Kobe, Garnett before, or anybody afterwards. There's been nothing quite like that era with LeBron James. I'm right there. I want to be in the building for LeBron's last game, too.
His last regular season game is April 12th this year, so...
Who knows if that'll be his last game.
We have no idea. The last game's probably going to be him losing in the playoffs.
Well, can he make it through a full regular season, too, at this? I mean, so many things there with the Lakers. Another person on the text line, sporting event I want to go to more than any is to watch the Chargers play in San Diego again. That one is the least likely of them all.
Nope, never going to happen, but I'm right there with you. Yes. One of these days, I mean, I would never root for the Chargers again, but just take them and put them back in San Diego has always been
best
great.
Team song, by the way, in the NFL is the San Diego Superchargers.
Superchargers. And I saw they're finally doing the powder blue again. They went away from it for a while.
Best uniforms in the league.
They were. Not anymore.
Yeah.
But they were once upon a time.
They were. All right, we got a break. When we come back, we're going to talk Ryder Cup. The 4 balls are underway. The Americans have leads in 2 groups with the Europeans ahead on 1. The other one's right now tied. We'll get into that. Garrett Johnston, who follows the PGA Tour, covers it. He'll come back. Our own Sacramento native Garrett Johnson to talk about the Ryder Cup when we come back. Sacktown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered flex steel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get ready for 2 epic showdowns of Monster Truck Madness at the Stockton Dirt Track, Saturday, October 4th. Feel the roar, the power, and the ground-pounding action. 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Do you have what it takes to survive the madness? Get your tickets now at StocktonDirtTrack.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back into the Alan Stiles Show. Scott Marsh in for Alan today. Alan back Monday. Kings Media Day. We'll get into the Kings on our next segment. Right now, joined by Garrett Johnston, of course, does a great job covering professional golf at Garrett Johnston Golf. You can follow him and his podcast, Beyond the Clubhouse. Garrett, I know you're dying to be at Bethpage right now. I know you're not at the event, but this Ryder Cup is about as epic as it can get today.
It is, yeah. Good to talk to you, Scott. Yeah, and I think there's just a lot of local connections that make it, feel bigger than, than most days in golf. And I think when you think about Keegan Bradley and his connection to New York and having gone to school at St. John's and, spending a lot of time, a lot of his youth there playing at Bethpage. And, obviously the Americans are not off to the best start. They're down 3-1 after the morning, but it's pretty cool, and it harkens back. It makes me think about, honestly, I spoke with his parents back when he made his Ryder Cup debut in 2012 at Medina. That was my first Ryder Cup, and I got there that morning, took a little red eye from San Francisco out to Chicago at Medina. And I remember talking to his parents in the media center, and they realized, hey, oh my gosh, we're watching the highlights in the media center. They're like, wow, college football's tomorrow, and the NFL's on Sunday. Our son is on the biggest stage in sports right now, and he's delivering with Phil. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like they were fired up, and I know that there's a local connection for Cam Young. We're seeing a New York guy, a guy that won the New York State Open in 2017. He's out there with JT in the afternoon. So, it's nice to look at some of those connections and what this means to some of the players and their parents, too.
No doubt. And you mentioned Medina in 2012. That was the year that Rory showed up late, right? His alarm clock was set an hour late, and he literally just rode right to the tee, and he won his individual match on Sunday.
Yeah, he beat Keegan Bradley. I remember Bradley was on fire. I think he was 3-0 at that point, and then you run into a buzzsaw and Rory on that Sunday morning on that huge miracle comeback. Man, if I have a regret in covering golf, I did hear that the players from the European team were staying at the Embassy Suites in Chicago that week. And I remember driving by the Embassy Suites that night on Sunday night when they had a huge comeback. And listen, I'm an American, but man, how sweet it would have been just to walk into that hotel and just get a sense of the vibe.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like winning on the road in Ryder Cup is unbelievable. It's so hard right now in professional golf. Even Rory says that's the hardest task in professional golf. So just to even just taste what that would have been like to be in that same hotel with those players, I mean, it's pretty amazing. And this current European team looks pretty stacked too.
No question. And with it being New York, it even adds more drama to it right now. And that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, what makes the European team better? They've been dominant in the Ryder Cup of late, certainly on their soil, but even here they've won a couple of times. Are they just better top to bottom, or is there something about team chemistry that Europe's figured out that the U.S. just can't get right?
Yeah, I think part of it is the alternate shot aspect, right? Like there's 2 formats. There's the 4 balls, which they're playing this afternoon, which you got to make birdies because it's all about, everyone's playing their own individual ball. But then also alternate shot is really where the Europeans shine. And actually, former European winner player Graham McDowell tweeted this morning. I really love what he said. He said, "We grew up in Europe. This reminds us of the old days. Playing alternate shot is what we did as kids." You know what I mean? So there's almost a sense in their blood that they're used to deferring to teammates, right? You know what I mean? You're not going to hit all the shots as you grow up over there, whether you're in Northern Ireland like Rory McIlroy or Graham McDowell in this case, or whether you're in France or mainland Europe. It's to them, they're so used to deferring to their teammates and kind of learning how to score and strategizing. They've had many more years of strategizing an alternate shot than the Americans do. And I think that plays out, and it played out this morning with a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. We'll see how the Americans do in four-ball. Scotty Scheffler undoubtedly is the best player out there. He's the best player in the world. And as you kind of put that in perspective, we had a chance to see Scotty at the Procore Championship a couple of weeks here win that tournament in Napa. Does Scotty, where do you rank him right now? It's still young in his career, but as you look at history and where Scotty is and where he could go, how would you assess Scotty Scheffler right now?
From the Ryder Cup perspective, or just his overall?
Well, the Ryder Cup, he still has to prove it, right? I mean, he hasn't done a lot in Ryder Cup, and if we were being honest, Tiger didn't do a lot in Ryder Cup either. I mean, so Scotty's got a chance to maybe distinguish himself with Ryder Cup play over the years.
He does, yeah. I think, gosh, I mean, where he's at right now, you look at his stats, like number one in shots gained, something like 3 of the 4 main categories, plus he's number 1 in putting, which is going to help him here at match play. It comes down to putts. It's so critical. But also, too, I know that he's generous off the tee, but it gets tight around those greens, and he's third in scrambling. So his numbers are way up there for being able to deliver. Now, when you take a club out of his hand and make him play alternate shot the way Tiger had to against Sergio Garcia and Lee Westwood, or Sergio Garcia and Luke Donald back 10, 20 years ago, it's just tough. You have one player, and having to defer to your teammate for half the shots is really tricky, because he gets in spots he's not used to, where Russell Henley put him this morning. So I think being in his third Ryder Cup, he beat John Rahm as a rookie in singles, and that was a huge deal to get that feather in the cap. But yeah, where he's at in his career, I mean, I said on CBS Sports Network, they had me on the Monday after the Open Championship. They said, what's his ceiling? I said, his ceiling, he could catch Tiger if he stays healthy when it comes to majors. I know it sounds outlandish, but I mean, Koepka is not the player he used to be. He was a major force. Rory is 36. I mean, he's not getting any younger. Yes, there are some outlier players like Justin Rose, and there's the Tommy Fleetwoods and stuff, but it's not like, Rahm is not the player he used to be either. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there is a window for Scotty these next couple of years in the big picture to run at the majors and get that total up at least close to double digits.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see as we follow him along. Right now, though, it's, you hear like Sam Burns, and he's supposed to be one of the best putters in the world. He missed a 7-footer that would have won the hole for the U.S. You've got Justin Thomas out there for the second consecutive round today. A lot of people are asking about that. So many things we could get into. On a bigger picture, Garrett, I want to ask you, in the world of golf, you've been to the Open, you've been to St. Andrews, you've been to the Masters several times. Putting the Ryder Cup in context in the world of golf, is this the biggest stage? How would you rank this in terms of everything else in the world of golf?
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. I think that the Masters is the big one around the world, but specifically in the U.S., and then the Open Championship for a lot of the people in mainland Europe. They grew up watching the Open. But I think where the numbers come in more is just the heroes of these players. Like, where did the heroes of these players really make their mark? And I know for the Europeans, to a man, like Seviano Ballesteros is their hero to most of these guys. You know what I mean? Like Sevi and Nick Faldo and Montgomery. You know what I mean? So I think all of those players really had a really good Ryder Cup career, and that, they saw them come through on the big stage. And I think that makes the Ryder Cup, that much more of a big deal. And I think also, too, having dramatic comebacks like they had at Medina. Now they have their own history that they're adding to it with the big upset at Medina and then winning really a lot of the most recent Ryder Cups, you think of Paris. So I don't know. I think from a European perspective, it's definitely rings the most with their side. But, yeah, it's interesting to see, Ben Griffin, where does the Ryder Cup match up with some of these rookies, Ben Griffin or Cam Young? What does it mean to them? I guess we're going to see how these rookies play out. Yeah, no doubt. Ben Griffin's out there. Cam Young is out there with Justin Thomas as well. I would say there's no doubt the pressure is on the American team this week to get the cup back. No doubt about it, especially here in New York. Yeah, I think they're going to feel most of the pressure. It'll be interesting too. What are you going to get out of Scheffler the next couple of days? Who are the Americans that really have to come through? Obviously Scheffler. You think of Bryson. But I mean, JT has not been playing well at all this
No.
season. Colin Morikawa has not been playing well. There's no momentum. Xander Schauffele's gone 40 consecutive days without a competitive round up until today. So, what are you going to get out of these guys? Who are going to be the top three Americans? To really get you where you need to be by Sunday night. That's really the question mark, I think.
No doubt. It's going to be a fascinating weekend, fascinating times. Garrett, it's always great to talk to you again. I encourage everybody to check out your Beyond the Clubhouse podcast. You can get there wherever you download your podcast. And, of course, follow you at Garrett Johnston. That's JONSTON Golf for all the good content. Garrett, we appreciate your time. You're one of our Sacramento natives doing well on the national stage.
Oh, thanks, man. Great to catch up as always, Scott.
All right, Garrett. Have a great weekend. All right, that's Garrett Johnson. We appreciate his time as always. We'll be talking Ryder Cup throughout the show here. I said that's the one bucket list event I haven't been to yet in the world of sports. I'd love to be back in New York. Give us yours as well. We'll continue to follow up on that. When we come back, we're going to get into the Kings stuff. You knew we would. Media Day on Monday. We've been talking about Jonathan Kuminga the entire offseason. We'll continue to do that when we come back, but we'll focus in on the Kings and what it's going to look like as they get ready to start training camp next week. This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Discover Terra Madre Americas, one of the world's most exciting food events, coming to Northern California for the first time this September 26th through 28th. Dig into good, clean, and fair food for all with chefs Alice Waters, Sean Sherman, and Jeremiah Tower. Hear music from The War on Drugs, Spoon, Big Head Todd and the Monsters, Jade Bird, and Passion Pit Solo Acoustic. Savor the journey of Terra Madre Americas, only in Sacramento. Details on TerraMadreUSA.com. Terra Madre Americas is supported by Sacramento International Airport and brought to you by Slow Food and Visit Sacramento.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's happening for Chrysler's Drive into Fall sales event?
Just like falling leaves, prices are falling at Hoblet. And right now you can save up to $14,000 off MSRP on new Ram 1500 crew cabs. That's $14,000 off Motor Trend's 2025 Truck of the Year. Plus, with nearly 500 Rams available, whatever truck you need, Hoblet has it.
Well, that's got to be some of the best savings of the year on Rams, but what if I'm looking for something different?
You need to check out the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter with nearly 200 vehicles available and 55 under $20,000.
Experience the Hoblet difference. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
14,000 toll net savings on select new Ram 1500 Bighorns after 8162 factory rebates and 5838 dealer discount. Rebates include 5816, get 10% below MSRP, 2000 SFS bonus cash, must finance with Stellantis, 500 on the job upfit, must show eligible upfit. 3 this net savings, sample VIN 772979. See dealer for details.
This very minute at the Hagen Oaks driving range, you'll find fun gaming on all 52 Top Tracer screens, where golfers and newbies enjoy the fun together. Compete against friends at the Hagen Oaks driving range, or play 9 holes on the McKenzie putting course. Enjoy the free concert schedule, and visit the Hangout Eats and Drinks for wood-fired pizzas, burgers, ice cream, and more, or relax with a beverage. It's all happening at the Hagen Oaks driving range, nightly until 2 a.m., Fulton Avenue at Business 80.
Footballs are flying. The days are getting shorter. Fall is officially here. Will your heater be able to get you through the winter? The heater at Whiteywood shut down last winter, so who did we call? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. We wanted somebody we could trust to do the job right and deliver great value, and Lee's came through. Check them out at leesair.com. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating has built a reputation as the leading HVAC company in Sacramento. We've got a new HVAC system that works great, saves us money month to month. Find out how they can help you at leesair.com. License number 635355.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports 1140. Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back into the Alan Stiles Show. Hour number 2, Scott Marsh filling in. Alan's last day off. He'll be back on Monday. Kyle Ledbetter, you've been here the whole time. You've had to put up with the cavalcade of co-hosts, guest hosts, everything else. I'm sure you're looking forward to having Alan back on Monday.
More than I thought I would, yes. We've had a lot of fun with the... Doing quick math here, 9 different co-hosts of the Alan Stiles Show.
You're like the different broadcasts for NFL football this year. They're on 9 different platforms this year.
I am the roaming. I'm trying to think, because usually there's broadcast teams.
Yeah, you're the rock. You're the constant.
I'm the Sports Center anchor that bounces around from all the different time slots.
Yes.
One day you see him at midnight, one time you see him at 8 in the morning.
You're the glue.
I guess so, but thank you to all 9 of the people who I've gotten the chance to work with over the last 3
I enjoyed
weeks.
listening.
They've all been wonderful.
It was great with Kayla earlier this week. It was
so much fun.
listening to them. Yeah, lots of good stuff. But Alan will be back on Monday, and that'll be the best. As it's Kings Media Day on Monday. We'll see the Kings answering questions out there at the practice facility and then training camp on Tuesday. We're going to break it down here in this segment. Do want to get back to the text line, follow up on LeBron. This was a question about most likely what jersey is he going to wear when he goes into the Hall of Fame. Unquestionably, it's going to be the Cavs, I think. I mean, it's a player's choice. So
basketball, do they do like a team that you get enshrined with?
Great question. I mean,
I know baseball, they obviously have the hat. But
right.
Basketball, I don't think they really do like
maybe not
what team you go in.
All right, but let's just say hypothetically they did. It would have to be the Cavs.
Here, I'm phrasing it this way. Yeah. There's only one place there's probably only one place LeBron is going to get a statue, and it's in Cleveland.
Oh, I don't know. I think he might get one in L.A.
He might.
Yeah.
But if you asked Cavs or Lakers for LeBron's career, that's easier. I think some people are making the Heat point. But
if you're doing it to make sense, it would be Cleveland.
Yeah. Cleveland is the team he will be the most associated with.
Won more titles in Miami, but we don't think about that.
No.
At all. I mean, that's such a far third, right, in the conversation piece.
Well, it's weird to think about it, but he won more conference championships in Cleveland, which is strange to think about. He won 5 conference titles with the Cavaliers, which seems strange given the 2 or 3 of them is just like the Herculean efforts he personally had to put in to get there.
No question. But at the end of the day, you're still going to think of him first and foremost with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, no question.
No doubt. All right, if you want to join the program, you can, 916-339-1140. Continue with those texts. We appreciate that as well. All right, let's break down the Kings here. Okay. We've been talking about this the entire offseason, and Dave, when I was on with Dave and Jason earlier, Dave threw out there, will Jonathan Kuminga be wearing a Kings jersey on Monday? Of course, we were kidding about that. I think he was. We know there's trade talks. Sam Amick's reported that. And we know there was prior talks as well, how heated they are at the moment. Not sure about that. So many things have to be worked out from a contract standpoint from both teams and figuring out future years and cap scenarios and all those types of things. Kyle, gut feeling for you, maybe not on Monday, but by the time the season starts, Jonathan Kuminga back with the Warriors. Is he with the Kings? Is he someplace else?
The way that I explained it to Chris and Kayla is that, like, I am going to be surprised if he ends up in Sacramento. So I've resigned myself to the fact that I've spent now 89 days following this Jonathan Kuminga saga, and it will probably end with him going back to the Warriors, at least to start the season. I think either way he's going to get traded before the trade deadline, or they'll just let him go to free agency if he takes the qualifying offer, all that stuff. But I would imagine he will be back with Golden State by Wednesday, because Wednesday is the deadline for the qualifying offer.
Right, October 1st.
Yes.
It's got to be done one way or the other.
Most likely.
Yes.
Because the qualifying offer is his best leverage. So technically, October 1st is
Sure,
just
it can
letting
come
it
and go.
expire.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It could come and go, but there is pressure certainly on the Warriors to get something done before that. I think the interesting thing in this whole scenario, I just have not heard a lot of other teams' interest in Kuminga, right? It just doesn't feel like the pool of NBA teams with interest in Kuminga has been large.
Well, it's just been too difficult to do when no team has cap space, right? All of these contending teams, they all have their rosters set. They know who they want to go into next season with. So the Warriors have been stuck in that scenario too, where, you know, they're not eager about bringing in Malik Monk. So potentially they would reroute him as part of a 3 or a 4 team trade. And it's never even gotten to the point where there's even been another team interested in giving the Warriors something they want more than Malik Monk.
That's for sure. And that's the other piece of this. And this is the thing that is going to be interesting to me most Monday at Media Day is Malik Monk and what he has to say about everything. It'll be his first opportunity, assuming that he talks and you know, all of that. What are his thoughts on the situation? And the one thing we know about Malik Monk, he plays from the heart, he speaks from the heart. And we also know he came back with the thought that he's going to be with De'Aaron for a long time. And some would even say maybe he took less money to stay here in Sacramento when he signed that contract. I'm not sure if that's the case or not. I think in Sacramento, maybe we overvalued his worth on the free market based on what he did that first year. But having said all of that, it's going to be really interesting to hear Malik Monk speak if he does on Monday.
Yeah. Coming back to Sacramento, it was the story of he stayed. He is the one free agent other than DeMar DeRozan after him. But at the time, he was the one free agent.
Orlando certainly wanted him at that time. Rumors were they were going to give him more money to go.
Yeah, Orlando had pivoted to KCP at some point. We know that, well, we know now. We didn't know at the time. But we know that the Pistons were very interested. At the time, though, the Pistons were coming off of a 17-win season where they had fired their coach. So all things being equal, I think Malik would rather play in Sacramento than Detroit. But to your point, he's been actively shopped for months.
Yep.
Even before this Kuminga stuff, there were sign-in trades for Dennis Schroeder being worked out. They ultimately didn't go that direction. They traded Valanciunas for Saric, who might not be on the team, so they essentially moved Schroeder for Valanciunas, but Malik was in those talks. Then he's connected to Kuminga, and still up to this week is still being actively shopped, according to Sam Amick. So what he makes of all of it, I'm really curious to see. And I'm curious whether or not he'll say that, because he doesn't have to.
No. But the one thing we know about Malik Monk is that he doesn't usually not say what's on his mind.
I don't know if Malik's ever been put in a situation like this before.
Not like this, no.
At least not in his time in Sacramento.
No.
I know Charlotte, there was some stuff going on, and he was part of that tumultuous Russell Westbrook Lakers season. But as long as we've had a chance to know him, we've never seen him be in the crosshairs of trades or people wanting him gone and things of those sorts.
And let's just say Malik does stay with the Kings. Like, how does that affect going into the year? You know, I mean, Malik was a guy who sacrificed coming off the bench, right? Eventually became a starter and then got hurt, of course. But now with this, you know, circling around, how is that going to affect the psyche of Malik Monk should he stay?
It's a really good question, because I'm very surprised they have brought back all of these shooting guards or wings or whatever you want to call them for next season. And it seems like in the minds of Scott Perry and BJ Armstrong and potentially Doug Christie, I don't know if Doug, if there's exact alignment there, but at least in the minds of the decision makers, Malik is the odd man out of the group. So what is going to happen when the odd man out in what they're trying to do is then welcomed back into what they're doing? Or maybe there's another trade we don't know about on the horizon. We simply don't know yet.
Different situations, but it feels a tinge like when Kevin Huerter that second year got moved to kind of a sixth man role, and it just never worked out. And there was always just kind of this tension around Mike Brown and Kevin Huerter. And of course, Kevin got hurt too, and that's a big piece of what happened there. But that just kind of sent reverberations, I thought, that kind of got that year off to a difficult start.
Yeah, it was very strange when I remember coming out of camp, the talk was, Keon Ellis or Malik Monk, which one's going to start? Which one's going to start? And then Kevin Huerter was starting last year, and everyone was like, oh, that was kind of out of nowhere. And then Kevin gets shuffled around to the bench, and whether Mike wanted to or didn't want to, they moved Malik into the starting lineup a few weeks before he got fired. And all of that was part of what led to the ultimate Mike Brown firing. So I remember that, too, just being something that was so strange and no one really had answers for it. And we kind of have a similar situation with Malik, DeMar, Zach, Keon Ellis. Yep. Throw in Devin Carter if you want going into this season.
No doubt. All right. We'll get to what else you want to see on Monday, but let's just throw out the options again. According to Aaron Turner, who's been following the situation quite extensively too, the 4 options for Kuminga: the qualifying offer, which would just be under $8 million, 1 year, which would make Kuminga the unrestricted free agent at the end of next season.
And he would get a no trade clause for this year.
Yep.
So he gets to pick where he wants to go.
A 2-year, $45 million deal with a team option, a 3-year, $54 million option, or a 3-year, $75 million with a team option. So,
which they want to convert into a player option.
Yep.
According to his agent, he's saying, we will sign tomorrow if you turn the team option to a player option.
Right. If you're Aaron Turner, that's the scenario you want the most, right?
Yes, that's what you're trying to leverage for, is to get that 3 years, $75 million guaranteed. Because if Kuminga plays incredible, you can just opt out of that $25 million on the final year, versus in the team option scenario, the Warriors are most certainly going to decline it unless Kuminga becomes an all-star, at which point they'll take the $24 million a year for his, what would that be, age 25 season?
Yeah, it'd be a bargain at that point.
Which is why they don't want to sign it.
Exactly. All right, focus back on the Kings. What else are you most interested about Monday as you head out to Media Day? And I know you may be back at our studio, but if you're out there, you're covering Media Day on Monday, what are the top 2 or 3 things you want to talk about?
I am very interested to ask Dennis Schroeder about what he thinks his role on the team is going to be. Like, again, it's one thing to be told what you are coming in, but
it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
But I want to hear what he thinks about coming into this Sacramento situation and who he thinks he'll play with and things like that. It would be very interesting to just hear, outside of the first little introductory press conference, what Dennis Schroeder thinks about the whole Sacramento situation right now and what he's walked into. So I'm very interested in that. Malik is the one that's super interesting, of course. Outside of that, I mean, I think over the summer we kind of acknowledged that they like DeMar DeRozan, want to bring him back. But I remember back in April and May and June, we just assumed DeRozan would want to leave. DeRozan would want to go to a contending team. When he joined the Kings, it was De'Aaron Fox, Mike Brown, and Monty McNair, and now it's Zach LaVine.
Yes,
and Doug Christie and Scott Perry.
You just hit on one of the most things I'm most interested in is if I get a chance to talk to DeMar DeRozan, I'm asking him, are you willing to consider a 6th man option? Because I think that's something that is being thought of, in terms of playing time with him. And I think for DeMar, that I'm sure he doesn't look at it that way, but that might be his best situation with the team.
It might be the team's best situation, because I do think putting Keon with LaVine or Keon with DeRozan is probably better for them, because LaVine and DeRozan on the defensive side of the ball,
right,
because LaVine and DeRozan are such poor defenders. We had a stat earlier this week that we keep bringing up that like DeRozan was hidden on defense the second most of any player in the league, according to the B-ball index and the stats that they have. So how does that work with the two of them defensively guarding wings? You have to have either Keon or Keegan on the floor at the same time. So maybe Keon staggers with Levine or Keon staggers. Like, there's so many interesting scenarios, and coming off the bench is possible if they decide we have to play Keon Ellis 25 minutes.
If we were to ask that to DeMar on Monday, what do you think his answer is?
Oh, he's giving us nothing. DeMar's got, I'm here to do what's best for the team, and the team is always coming first. And
a Marshawn answer?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's giving us absolutely nothing. But he's very good at giving nothing in these situations, which most of these guys are. But it is a very interesting proposition. I'm just curious, excited to be back?
Yep. How about with Keegan? You know, we're talking Kuminga right now. Are we going to be talking like this about Keegan at the end of next year?
I'm really confused what's going on with that Keegan contract extension, because we've been saying all summer, just take what Jabari Smith Jr. got, change the names on the contract, and just hand it to Keegan Murray. I mean, at this point, Jabari's a little bit better of a more polished of a defensive player. Keegan's more polished of an offensive player, but both of them, who were picked third and fourth in their draft classes, have been similar players so far. So the market's already been set. I assume they want Keegan Murray to be a long-term part of this team, even if he hit restricted free agency. So I'm just very curious why they haven't extended Keegan the offer, when if he doesn't sign it by open, or if he doesn't get an agreement by opening night, they can't negotiate again until free agency.
But just playing out a year and looking at what's going on with Kuminga now, we're running through all the options of qualified offer, 2-year, 3-year, team option, player options, project out a year. Do you feel like that could be the offseason for the Sacramento Kings?
You're saying next
summer?
Next
season, yeah.
It all depends on how this season goes. I mean, this is as make or break as it's going to get for this group of the Sacramento Kings, because you mentioned DeRozan's deal is not guaranteed after the year. You've got Levine on an expiring contract. You've got Keegan hitting restricted free agency. Keon Ellis hitting unricted free agency.
Yeah, Keon we know will be unrestricted because he signed the 1-year deal now, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Kings option. The Kings picked up the final year, which makes him an unrestricted free agent.
Barring injury, it would be smart for him to, not hit unrestricted free agency, but, everyone tampers in June. So get to that tampering period before you decide whether or not you want to sign a new deal. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for him unless the Kings offer this grandiose 4-year extension.
Well, the one thing we do know, there's going to be a lot to talk about on Monday, and we may not get all the answers, but we will be out there the entire time. Keep it tuned all day long. Sacktown Sports will have wall-to-wall coverage of Kings Media Day, and then it starts for real training camp, and just like that, the season gets going. I mean, you've got preseason games in a week. You've got the regular season coming up in mid to late October. I mean, we are here. We are absolutely here with the start of the Kings season. A lot of questions to be answered, a lot of things to be resolved, and it will be really fascinating to see if Jonathan Kuminga is part of this mix or not.
Like I said, I'm resigning myself to the fact it's probably not going to happen, but the fact that the Kings are still trying, I think, is a noble effort by them. I believe Brett Siegel, friend of the station, friend of the show, comes on pretty regularly with us, said that the Kings were the ones who kind of restarted those talks with the Warriors, but the fact that they're willing to engage at all is a sign that they really do want to try and make this Kuminga thing work, no matter how long the odds appear right now.
No doubt. Anything else you think the Kings are really trying to work right now? Of course, we don't even know what that is. So many things being kept in secret, right? But what else? I mean, we've been focused so much on Kuminga. Maybe there's something else out there we're not even considering right now.
I think if not Kuminga, it's probably going to be a December 15th situation where more contracts are available and flexibility, stuff we've been talking about. A super smaller note that I'm very interested to see what happens is we had heard whispers that Dario Saric might get bought out or is being tried to be moved as a contract to make a trade happen. So if they don't land Kuminga, do they keep Dario Saric on this roster? Do they open up another roster spot potentially for one of the two-way players or G Leaguers? We're expecting that Russell Westbrook will fill one of the roster spots if Russell Westbrook is willing. The Kings seem like they're motivated to bring him in, whether they move Monk or not. But what they do with Dario Saric, I'm interested in, because we had heard whispers that he might get bought out potentially before the season begins, kind of like McDaniels did last year during training camp for the Kings.
No doubt. This from the text line is, has Monk said he's open to being traded. I haven't heard Monk talk at all, but it will be interesting to see on Monday if he does talk, what he says about that.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see where it goes because, I mean, we're only in year 2 of this 4-year extension. I mean, when he signed that deal, it was like, you're going to
They were so committed to him. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're going to be a core piece of this team, a beloved player. Again, DeMar DeRozan signed afterwards, but at the time, the one guy.
No doubt. He was the one guy everybody wanted back.
Yeah, and they were willing to re-sign him. I mean, he was at a card show. People were chanting for Malik Monk to come back, and he did and is still beloved. And quite frankly, I mean, we've talked about this before. He was not put in a position to succeed last year. I mean, between going from being the 6th man to the starting shooting guard to the starting point guard.
The trade, the injury, you name it.
Yeah. I mean, he played 4 different roles on this team last year. A very tumultuous season. And even though he performed less than he has in the past, he was not put in a great position to succeed. So I think it's unfair to a certain extent to write him off as just a movable contract.
All right. The other person, of course, who will talk and will field a lot of questions is Doug Christie. His first full season as head coach, the interim tag taken off. And this from the text line, I want to know what Doug is going to do differently with almost the same squad as last year, which obviously didn't work out the way they wanted it to. So what if you're Doug Christie is the answer to that response?
Me and you both, 916. I'm curious to see where this goes because he hasn't been given.
Can Doug get more out of Zach LaVine? I mean, they've got the relationship. Obviously, they need Zach to play better defense in addition to being maybe a little bit more consistent 3-point shooter. Is he capable of doing that? We know the close relationship that Doug has with Sabonis, and Sabonis has done everything for this team already. But can he maximize something else out of Sabonis that helps to get a few more wins?
I think that is their best shot going forward, right? Because as very good as DeMar DeRozan is, he was very high usage last year, very good player, but also never even sniffed the All-Star game last year, despite the high usage rates and despite all the great offense he was bringing. Zach LaVine was almost an All-Star in the East last year. It was down to him and Tyler Hero. And last year, while he didn't shoot as much, was the most efficient season of Zach's career. So I think their best hope is to have that efficiency where he's shooting 50, 40, and almost 90 on, I think it was 16 shots per game. Let's see if he can do that at 20 shots per game and just see if they can replicate that. Zach, or essentially the now efficient Zach LaVine, is one of the top 3 3-point shooters in the NBA instead of the top 15. Let's see if that can replicate with a larger volume this year. That's, I think, their best shot.
All right. We have figured out, by the way, you're the catcher for the program here. You are the one who has rallied everybody else around the last few weeks. You're the Cal Raleigh of this. I don't know. I don't know if you hit 60-plus home runs, but
we're the battery here because you're coming in like Mason Miller in the 9th inning every week. These Friday shows we're doing
hopefully
together.
The last year of Mason Miller, right?
He's been killing it.
He's been
down
better.
in San Diego.
He has been better since he's moved, and that's one thing. We're going to talk to Ken Korak. We'll get his thoughts on Mason Miller and everything athletics as well. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk Major League Baseball. There's lots of playoff scenarios here as we enter the final weekend. What does it look like in a wild card? We know it does not include the Giants, that's for sure. We'll get into the American League situation. I do want to talk about MVP battles as well. That and a lot more. Plus your phone calls, 916-339-1140. Continue to text us on our text line as well. Scott Marsh filling in for Alan Stiles here on a Friday. Sacktown Sports 1140.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Outgrove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's finally Friday. Stepping outside and feeling the cool air that's come through. Clear start to the day. We'll have plenty of sunshine this afternoon and temperatures running a bit warmer. Plan for highs in the mid-90s. You can get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. Whether you purchase a new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, Elk Grove Honda has the right Honda at the right price. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard, or elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week, and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time to panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Hold the onions. For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. Into 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something?
Boat wins!
Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing?
Boat wins!
Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing?
Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered FlexSteel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back into the Alan Stiles Show. Scott Marsh filling in for Alan. He'll be back on Monday. Again, Kings Media Day. Hope you enjoyed our Kings conversation in the last segment. We'll be getting all through the Kings here for the remainder of the show. We'll be here until 2 o'clock, getting you ready for the drive, guys. They're out on remote today. Big sports card show.
Yes.
We'll be talking about at the fairgrounds in Roseville.
I'll be out there tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah.
You a collector?
I'm not much of a collector, but any chance to check out the fun things Imran has going on, I'll
No
take it.
doubt. Imran Pilati, of course, hosts the True Sports Card weekend show here at the station every Saturday morning from 10 to 11. A lot of great celebrity guests out there signing autographs throughout the weekend. We'll touch on all of that. Let's talk a little baseball in this segment. Of course, Ken Korak comes up at 12 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts. Of course, the longtime voice of the Oakland A's. Wild card did not work out for the Giants like they hoped. They made a run and then they faded fast, and their bats went into the witness protection program. Basically, is what happened for the San Francisco Giants.
Dead to rights. The Giants. A lot of these teams made late charges. The Marlins famously had this crazy 13 wins out of 14 to get back into it, but the Giants were not a playoff team all year. They sold at the deadline. They happened to have this turnaround where they got within a half game of the Mets, and then they regressed to the mean, which is probably where they were all season long.
How do you assess Buster Posey in year one?
Look, I've talked about this before. Like, Buster Posey, I'm willing to give time, but Buster Posey has made a lot of moves that are like blueprint type transactions. When you sign 6 and 7 year contracts across the board, it's kind of hard to move those guys. So Buster Posey is exhibiting the signs of not having a great plan, but I'm willing to see it through because it is early, and if those young players do end up producing, it will all sort itself out. But I would not have done some of the things that he's done so far.
Such as?
The Devers trade, most of the baseball people say, not that the trade was bad, but that locking yourself into that contract was not a good idea.
I mean, they needed a left-handed bat, for sure.
Yes. The Milwaukee Brewers, who have the best record in baseball right now, they were fine being like, hey, Willie Adames, see you later. We'd love to keep you, but we're not crushed that we didn't keep you. So that move may have been an overpay in hindsight. Just paying $800 million for your essentially infield is not a great idea when none of them, well, Devers will be an all-star, but none of them were all-stars in their first year together.
No. And I mean, Logan Webb has been, consistent on the mound. He didn't finish great this year, but I mean, he's obviously an all-star caliber pitcher, and we love him from this area. But the starting pitching is still a problem, too.
Outside of the top two.
Robbie Ray's been okay.
Yes. Outside of the top two, they've got many question marks. Also, they traded their entire bullpen, so they're going to have to kind of rebuild that one. But the big issue with the Giants is the hitting. We know that.
Question. And I give Buster Posey credit. He at least shook things up. I mean, Farhan before that really did nothing to that anemic Giants lineup. I can't fault the moves that he's made. And, Yastrzemski, who had been there for years, I mean, they had to part ways there. He was a light bat for a long time.
Sure, I get that. And I guess that's the part I'm stuck on that I don't have the answer to. Is it that Buster is making moves that Farhan wouldn't have, or is it ownership is more comfortable with Buster spending their money than perhaps they were with Farhan?
Yeah, good question. All right, let's look at the playoff scenarios. It feels like the Mets are going to hang on. It's between the Mets and Cincinnati for that last spot. They'll take on the Dodgers, who won the division yesterday, defeating the Diamondbacks. Arizona pretty much eliminating Arizona.
Arizona's, I think, like a 1.5% chance. So
it's a Jim Carrey chance.
There's a small chance, but the Mets just have to finish this weekend equal or better than the Reds, which the Mets have 3 games in Miami. The Reds have 3 games at Milwaukee. Obviously, the aforementioned best team in baseball, which is still playing for the 1 seed in the National League. They'll be either 1 or 2, but they technically are playing for something.
Yeah, no doubt. On the east side, you've got the Yankees battling with the Blue Jays for the AL East title. One of the biggest collapses in baseball history with the Tigers and the Guardians. It looks like Cleveland's going to win the AL Central now, barring somehow the Tigers coming back from oblivion. You got the final AL wildcard spot now. You got the Astros. And what about the A's doing a good job against Houston? The Astros did win yesterday.
No, but it just punted the Astros out of the playoffs.
Pretty much.
We were talking about this earlier with Chris and Kayla, but how crazy is it that the Tigers were playing the Guardians this week, and that's the last AL wildcard right now, which means you were guaranteed one of them was going to lose. So all you had to do if you were the Astros was win, and you would gain ground, and they just could not beat the A's.
Could not do it. No doubt. No doubt. The A's have had a good second half of the season. We understand that.
They have, yes, and a lot of people think they're going to be very good next year.
They need some starting pitching.
Yeah.
If they can put that piece together, Severino was just not what they had hoped for.
I've said I'll believe it when I see it. So some people are saying they're going to be very good next year, and it feels like it might be now or never for.
But right now, if we were just talking Northern California, you'd rather have the A's roster than the Giants roster.
For sure. And the A's are less expensive than the Giants. I would like to have the A's roster with the Giants organization, if that makes sense.
I hear you on that one. All right. Other things, Major League-wise, as you look at the playoffs and the National League, the Dodgers are going to have to come through the wild card round, which will be interesting. They should be able to get by New York or whether it's Cincinnati. You got Milwaukee. Your Padres are going to be in Chicago to take on the Cubs. And to me, the Padres, they're a team built for the postseason. I mean, they've got everything the Dodgers don't right now in terms of that relief pitching, which is just so ridiculously good and usually wins in October. That's the one real weakness for the Dodgers right now. They're going to put a lot of starters in the pen. They've got Sasaki back. Kershaw's going to go to the pen. He won't have a place in the rotation, but I mean, in terms of just the best bullpen, I mean, San Diego, they're set up in great position right now.
I like to think so, although the bats have not been as prolific as
San
Diego was hoping for. Yeah. And they've got two starting, kind of like the Giants, they've got two starting pitchers you can count on, and Cease has had a tough year, and Michael King's battled injuries, hasn't been as good as past years.
San Diego certainly has spent the money. There's no doubt about that. The Padres have been all in for the last few years. Why do you think they haven't been able to get it done?
Well, now you're just hurting my feelings.
You're a San Diego expert. Of course, I got to throw it out there.
Hey, the Dodgers last year scored 0 runs in 25 innings against the Dodgers.
Dodgers were a game away from losing to the Padres last year.
Yeah, I mean, baseball happens.
Yeah, and of course the Padres knocked them out prior to that.
Gosh, just hurting my soul, reminding me of last year, because last year was their best shot. This year they don't have as good of a chance, and part of that is the injuries. Now Laureano's out. Jason Adam, one of their relievers, has been out for a while, but the Padres have been better than any point in my lifetime, and I'm happy with that. If they beat the Cubs, I will be happy. And after that, baseball's weird stuff happens. Just get me through to the wild card, and everyone's got a shot at that point, because weird stuff happens in the baseball playoffs.
Yeah, it definitely can. And certainly in the wild card situation where it's 3 games, anything can happen with a hot pitcher.
You're about to learn about that, Mr. Dodgers fan.
Hey, it's scary times. There's no doubt about it.
Never had to. You've been living the good life for years now.
Dodgers have won the division 12 of the last 13 years.
Which even the one that they didn't, they beat the Giants. So.
But it wore them out. Lost in 5 games there, and then went to Atlanta, got blown out.
Yeah, Scherzer fell apart, all that stuff. But in my book, you've won the division 13 years in a row. Yeah, which is just remarkable. Unfathomable.
No question. It's historical. I mean, only the Braves have been at that type of level, or you go back to the 20 Yankees, something like that. So anyways, all right. Again, we'll have more baseball conversation with Ken Korak coming up at 12 o'clock. We'll break down all things in the MLB. Your thoughts, though, I do want to get to it. MVP. Is it Judge or is it Cal Raleigh?
Jeff Passan had a really great line that I think applies for me, which is, if I had a vote today, I would vote for Aaron Judge and feel awful about it. Because Aaron Judge deserves to win the MVP, but I understand it's been the summer of Cal Raleigh, and he's going to hit 61, 62 home runs. And
on the team that's playing the best baseball in baseball right now.
Yeah, exactly. Pitching staff is killing it, all that stuff. I will say, though, the Yankees still could end up with the number 1 seed in the American League.
It's possible, but I think Cal Raleigh is going to win the MVP this year. Because he's a catcher. What he's doing, being a catcher, is something that's never been done in the game before on a team that is on this incredible win streak right now.
Yes, and I have no qualms with the people who pick Cal Raleigh to win MVP. I'm just making the point that
he's done something what one of 7 players in baseball has ever done in terms of hitting 60-plus home runs, and you have to throw out a couple of those. You can't count McGuire. You can't count Sosa. Throw away Bonds.
I get we love the home runs, and for all good reasons. I'm not diminishing anything Cal Raleigh has done. I just bring up that Aaron Judge is leading the MLB in batting average. He's leading the league in on-base percentage.
His stats are silly.
Slugging percentage,
They're
most
incredible.
runs scored, most walks. He is it is the rare time he is the best average hitter and power hitter in Major League Baseball. And this year, if not for the insane season he had a couple of years ago, this would be his best season.
Doing
ever.
it from an outfield position.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
behind the plate.
No, I totally.
And that means something.
It does to the people who are going to vote Cal Raleigh for the MVP. But Judge is so unbelievable, and he deserves to win the MVP. Both of them do. I would go with Judge and feel awful about it because everyone loves Cal Raleigh, and for good reason.
And Cal Raleigh, I think, is going to win it. All right, we got a break. When we come back, let's get into some NFL conversation. We've talked Niners. We'll continue to talk about them throughout the afternoon. But how about this juicy game Sunday in Dallas with Micah Parsons coming back to Big D, and Jerry Jones will have to sit there from his skybox and watch Micah Parsons in a Green Bay uniform. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's Scott Marsh filling in for Alan Stiles right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's best Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all. Model year-end savings are going on now. Drive away in your favorite Honda. It's savings you just can't say no to. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study, recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game and high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Nighttime is fun time at the Hagen Oaks Top Tracer driving range. It's more relaxed at night with people enjoying technology, where you can play Pebble Beach at Hagen Oaks, compete against your friends in a variety of games, or just practice at your leisure. There's food when you're hungry from hangout eats and drinks, or enjoy a beverage on the brand new patio with relaxed seating. And check out the free concert series. It's the Hagen Oaks driving range nightly until 2 a.m. Fulton Avenue at Business 80.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Well, as we close the book on the 25 campaign, there certainly will be optimism for the A's going into the offseason, and largely because of the offensive core. Guys like Butler, Kurtz, Rooker, Soderstrom, Langoliers, and Wilson. Now they're going to need some additions going into next year, but the foundation is certainly in place.
Welcome to Dugout Radio, the undisputed home of Boomtown Baseball.
The Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity, baby. Our next caller is
Stacy, how do you stay locked in on every pitch and play?
We stream it all live on Xfinity Internet with low lag, 99.99% network reliability, and speeds faster than a base runner beating the throw to home plate.
I stream on my TV, tablets, even my smart fridge.
Smart fridge?
With all those games, we gotta refuel.
Stream live baseball with Wi-Fi built for the biggest moments. Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You've probably heard the word, but do you know what a stimp meter is and how it works? Invented by Edward Stimpson in the 1930s, a stimp meter is a device used to measure the speed of putting surfaces. His version was made of wood and was simply a chute on which a golf ball would roll onto the green. Roderick Easdale writes in Golf Magazine, today's stimp meters are made of aluminum. They're 36 inches long and have a V-shaped chute down which the ball can roll. It has 2 notches on which the ball rests. After a flat area of the green is selected, a golf ball is placed in the notch and the end is slowly lifted until the ball rolls down the chute and across the green. The average of 3 distances becomes one of the measurements. The process is repeated in the opposite direction, and the measure of both directions is added and divided by 2. That figure in feet is the Stimpmeter reading. Most courses average 9 or 10 on Stimpmeter, which is neither too fast or too slow, just right for most recreational players. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Listen to the 49er Rewind daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be.
Live and local
It's Alan Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back into the Alan Stiles Show here, Sacktown Sports, 1140. Scott Marsh filling in for Alan. It's been great. Second time. Did it last Friday as well. Friday's always the best show to do it leading into the weekend. Thank you, Kyle. There's some small applause there.
Yes, a round of applause.
I appreciate
for
that.
Scott Marsh.
You're the catcher of the crew. We already determined that, but it's been a lot of fun. And Fridays, of course, are great. You've got NFL games coming up, big college football weekend, Ryder Cup going on right now. The American team is down 3-1 after the foursomes. They're in the 4-ball competition. And again, foursomes just means alternate shot. It's all match play. 4-ball right now, the Americans are up in 2 of the 4 groups. The Europeans are up in 1 of the 4. It'll be the same format tomorrow, and then all singles on Sunday from Bethpage Black. One of the great public courses in America with the greatest sign of any course in America. Must be highly skilled to play this course. Warning. So.
Yes, very fun. So remind me that it's first to 12.5 wins?
15.5.
15.5.
Yeah, 14.5. I think it's 15.5, but we'll check on that. Yeah, we can add it up. There's 8 points possible today, 8 points possible tomorrow, and 12 points possible on Sunday. So it has to be 14.5.
Yeah, it's got to be 14.5 then.
Yep. So, again, Ryder Cup, that's one bucket list event I want to be at. Olympic Cup Club 2033, we determined it's going to be my best chance for that. What about for you out there, the one sporting event that's still on your bucket list, haven't been able to get out there? If you had to just pick one, what would it be? Let us know. You can call us 916-339-1140. You can also put it in our text line as well. Ken Korak coming up at noon. We'll talk baseball and break down the A's. Let's get back in some more NFL football, our 49ers conversation. As you look at the games this week, Kyle, and there are some interesting matchups, but I think the biggest biggest storyline is Micah Parsons returning to Dallas on Sunday with the Packers.
That is going to be so interesting. And I get a lot of the intrigue comes from everything leading up to the actual game. It's Micah talking this week about how it's going to be painful to sack Dak Prescott because of how much he loves him, and saying that he would get a round of applause from Cowboys fans on his way coming in. I get that a lot of the Micah Parsons talk revolves around the everything leading up to the game, and the game itself is a little anticlimactic, but I'm so interested to see how the Cowboys are going to feel about playing Micah Parsons, how the Cowboys are going to feel when Micah Parsons gets a sack and the fans are cheering for Micah Parsons when he sacks their quarterback.
How many Micah Parsons Cowboy jerseys are you going to see on Sunday?
It's going to be plenty of them, I would imagine. And we were talking about it earlier this week. The Cowboy fandom, I feel like, has kind of reached a tipping point in recent years where they've been bad for so long that now they kind of have that New York Knicks quality to it, where they commiserate with their defeats and root for the players to go on and do other things because they know that it's never going to happen in Dallas. It's kind of turned in that way where I think people are going to be pro Micah Parsons overwhelmingly and anti Jerry Jones deciding to trade a 3-time All-Pro linebacker.
Well, and just the way the whole thing went down, too. I mean, the negotiation process, Jerry Jones taking offense to Micah Parsons, saying they had a deal and didn't have a deal, and agent not involved, and, Jerry Jones by himself.
Basically doing the whole Micah Parsons drama to sell his Netflix documentary.
No doubt. And have you watched America's Team, by the way?
I have not.
It's good.
Okay.
It's really good.
Is it?
It's a must-watch.
Is it good because of like the access that they give to it? Because like obviously I didn't live through this era.
It's great because you've got all the interviews with Jerry Jones, with Jimmy Johnson, with Barry Switzer. Troy Aikman is as candid and is forthright about that time frame when he played there as I've ever heard him on the record. So that alone makes the series really good. If you're a Cowboys fan, you'll particularly like it. But if you're just a fan understanding the story of Jerry Jones buying the Cowboys and how he made them into the most valuable franchise in American sports, it's well worth it.
Okay, well, I've got the Scott Marsh seal of approval.
And that's the
on
thing.
this.
That's the thing about Jerry Jones. I like Jerry Jones. I do. I mean, has he won in the last 3 decades as a general manager? No, he hasn't. And the Cowboys have been a wreck for a lot of those years on the field.
And it's remarkable that they're the most valuable franchise in North America.
It's an amazing story of how he bought the team and what he did, and there's a lot of success there.
Yeah,
you have to give the man some credit.
He's always been money first when it comes to getting the salary cap and sponsorships for teams, and the way that they've marketed, they've always been about their money, which is crazy because the team again hasn't been good since I was less than 7 years old, basically. I was -7 the last time they won a championship.
Yeah, no doubt. But the Packers, again, it's hard to believe they're coming in 2-1. They got off to such a terrific start. They look like they might be the best team in football, and then they just blow up in Cleveland late last week.
I still think the Packers are very good, but they still got offense questions, which has always been the thing with Jordan Love. Jordan Love throws a beautiful deep ball, beautiful fade down the sidelines, but his other abilities can be limited sometimes. Doesn't use his legs as much as he probably should or is needed. That wide receiver situation still is a bunch of guys that are probably all wide receiver 2s. They don't have, since Devontae Adams, they've not had a 1,000-yard receiver, I believe, at the receiving position. So they've got a lot of questions they got to keep asking themselves.
Yeah, no doubt. And that certainly last week raised a lot of eyebrows about how you can lose to Cleveland, who, by the way, is in Detroit this week. Just looking at some of the other games that are going on. The game in Ireland is an interesting one. You got the Vikings and the Steelers both at 2-1. You've got let's see here. Probably the biggest blowout's going to be Buffalo at home against the Saints. I think people who are in Survivor leagues now, they're just taking the team that's playing the Saints. Pretty much.
I was ahead of the curve, Scott. What did I tell you last week?
You're a savant.
Yeah, you were like, you know who I'm going to take? The Packers over the Browns.
Problem for me, I already took the Bills this year, so I'm going with the Detroit in my Survivor league.
You're going to fall for it again? After you took the Packers over the Browns last week, you're going to bet against the Browns right away?
I did not take the Pack last week. I survived. But we'll see. Cleveland, the chances of them winning 2 in a row on the road? No.
Going into Detroit, no chance.
Not going to happen.
Although the defense is their strong suit, the problem is they just incapable of scoring points.
Yeah, no question. On paper, the best game probably has to be the Eagles in Tampa Bay. I'm interested to see that one. The Eagles, they've been like Kansas City was last year, just winning all these one-score games, surviving it still early. Same thing with Tampa Bay. They've been winning all these late game Baker Mayfield heroics. That should be a fun game.
I think there was a stat that said they're the first team since 1970 to win their first 3 games on last-second field goals. I believe I
think you're right about
something,
that.
or in the last 30 seconds of a game or something like that.
Yeah, you've got the 3-0 Colts taking on the Rams. Daniel Jones looking good outside of New York. And, of course, you got the Ravens and the Chiefs, and that's the most important game on the schedule by far. Both of these teams have Super Bowl aspirations. The loser of this one's going to be 1-3.
You know I love Kansas City, but I'm not feeling good about this game.
That game's at Arrowhead.
I'm not.
That might be the game you have to go to.
It's a little too late
for your
for
bucket list.
Little late for that one. You know, it's funny. I've joked about that, but the one that I thought would have been fun to go to in hindsight was the frostbite game against the Dolphins in the playoffs that one time. Like, if you're going to do it, you want to do it when it's -7 degrees outside in Arrowhead. But no, Kansas City at home, always going to be favored, always going to have a chance, but this Baltimore offense is really, really good.
They are, but they just have found ways to lose games early on in this year. So
they got questions.
And Derrick Henry can't hold on to the football either, and that's a bigger problem. All right, we'll have a full breakdown. We'll give you all our selections for Week 4 in the NFL coming up later in the show. But when we come back, we're going to talk to Ken Korak, the longtime voice of the A's, and we'll get his thoughts on the season, the first one in West Sacramento, his evaluation where the team is at, and all things Major League Baseball when we come back. This is Scott Marsh filling in for Alan Stiles right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A+ Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We're in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's That's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back into the Alan Stiles Show. Scott Marsh filling in until 2 o'clock today with Kyle Ledbetter. We're talking all things Kings, of course, 49ers. We're going to get you to our NFL picks coming up in just a little bit. In college football, big weekend nationally, top 25-wise, and also locally with UC Davis and Sacramento State in action. But right now, we want to talk some A's baseball, some Major League Baseball. Final weekend of the season. It is my privilege, my honor to be joined by the great voice of the A's, Ken Korak. Ken, thank you so much for spending some time with us. How are you, my friend?
Thank you, Scott. I'm doing great. Thanks.
Good deal. All right, let's just get into it. The end of the first year in West Sac is coming up for the A's. Just kind of want to get your overall evaluation, just both for yourself as you went through the year and where you see the A's at right now as we finish out in September.
Well, thanks, Scott. And I think for all of us, and including the players and the rest of us on the broadcast team, there was an adjustment, as you know. And I'm never going to forget the 29 years that I had in Oakland. And A's fans were so good to me and my family. And so there was a lot of emotion, as you know, when the A's left the Coliseum and played that last game there a year ago. And as you know, on the field, the club really struggled early this year. That was well documented, and it came to a head when they lost 20 out of 21, and that really, in terms of their overall record, it ruined their chances to contend this year. But I think the best thing that's come out of the season in terms of the team and the record and then going forward was that they survived that really awful stretch to play very well. And so if you look back, over 2 months now, and back to the 24th of July, Scott, they have one of the best records in baseball. So they really came out of a tough stretch, and I think we've all made the adjustment. And for me, I've enjoyed my time up here for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. You've been able to move in and enjoy some Sacramento life, which is fantastic. You're kind enough to do some green and gold reports on the station here. And I know how you described it with the A's is they've laid the foundation. Obviously, there's some things they need to do going into the offseason, getting ready for 2026, but the foundation is there.
Well, if you look at their top six guys in their lineup, and led by Nick Kurtz, who should be the unanimous American League Rookie of the Year, these guys can mash. They're having one of their best home run years in their history, even going back to the Philadelphia days. So I think offensively they have really laid the foundation. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't need additions in the offseason, and they're going to have to pitch better. Their team ERA is 4.70, and so that has to get down into the threes or at least low fours next year for them to contend.
No doubt. They do have a lot of great offensive players. How much do you think that has been a part of being in the ballpark here in West Sac?
That's an outstanding question. I don't think there's any question that the ballpark is a really good hitter's park. And you contrast it with the Royals, who are here for this final weekend of the regular season. They play in the best pitcher's ballpark in the American League. I've thought about this a lot. Like last night, Nick Kurtz hit 2 home runs to left field, giving him 35 for the year. And, yeah, the ball carries really well toward left. We've seen that all year. But they were also 390 feet and about 105 miles an hour off the bat. And it wasn't like they were to left center or straightaway center. And I think in most of the other ballparks in baseball, those homers would have left the park as well. So it's a little bit hard for me to quantify it, but in general, for sure, it's been a good hitter's park.
Yeah, you mentioned Nick Kurtz, and you've seen a lot of great rookies. Where does Nick rank up? Obviously, he had one of the best offensive games in Major League Baseball history this season, and since coming up, he's just been fantastic.
Well, it's been the best rookie year that I've seen since I've been with the A's. And if you look strictly at the home run numbers, he's in the top 10 all time amongst rookies for home runs. And so it's almost hard to imagine that a guy who, Scott, as you know, was in college a year ago, could be doing what he's doing. And he doesn't have enough at bats to qualify for the top 10 in batting, or he would. And yet he has 35 home runs, which just shows you how much he's done this year.
Yeah, he's been fabulous. And obviously with him and Wilson as well, what a dynamic duo.
No question. And they've got a shot to be 1-2 in the American League in the Rookie of the Year balloting. And that hasn't happened in the American League since the 1980s. And Wilson was the odds-on favorite during the first half. After all, he was voted to start at shortstop in the All-Star game, which is pretty incredible in its own right as a rookie. But then he got hurt. He was on the IL, and then during that time, Kurtz just went off. So Kurtz will be a deserving choice.
We're talking with Ken Korak, voice of the A's. And Ken, you mentioned it. This team went through a streak of losing 20 of 21, and it kind of brought back on the opposite side of when the team went through the 20-game win streak, right? And the whole basis of Moneyball and everything else. I was just wondering from you, from highs to lows, what was it like riding through that? And especially when you'd experienced what a 20-game win streak was like.
Well, there was just kind of a general malaise that struck the team. And they've been honest about it. I had our pitching coach, Scott Emerson, on our pregame show yesterday, and I was trying to kind of be nice with my first question. And I said, Scott, your pitching was just so early in the year. And he interrupted me and he said, Ken, no, we stunk in May. So they've reconciled it, and they've been pretty honest about it. But as you know, because you've done a ton of games yourself, you can't get too low when your team is playing poorly, because as Hank Greenwald told me many years ago, if that happens, you're going to sound like the team is playing, and you can't allow that to happen.
That's a great point. Starting pitching obviously has been a little bit of a challenge, and Severino wasn't quite what the team hoped, at least for this season. How do you think they go about addressing that over the offseason?
Well, that's the best question, I think, and that is up to management and ownership. I think they really could use at least one more veteran starter, a cornerstone-type starting pitcher, if they're going to take the next step and really get into contention, which I think they can do. So we'll see how that plays out in the offseason. I'm encouraged by the way Severino pitched down the stretch. He pitched great the other day against the Astros, the best game that he's pitched at home. Jeffrey Springs, who only threw barely over 40 innings combined in the previous 2 years, wound up winning 11 games and throwing 170 innings. So that was a plus. And, some of their young guys, I think, have done well. And the kind of centerpiece to all that, and talking about their young pitching, Scott, would be Luis Morales, who was the top prize, the top pitching prospect in the international signing period 2 years ago. And he's done nothing but shine since he was called up to the big leagues. He has a chance to be a number 1 or number 2 type starter. So, and a couple of guys who are on the IL, I would have loved to have seen Jacob Lopez finish the season healthy, because he pitched great, and Jack Perkins, after he was called up, did a nice job, but they're both on the IL. So they need help from the pitching standpoint, but they also have some guys coming back who, if they can take the next step, that would help as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Looking at the pin, obviously, I think a lot of people were caught off guard with the trade of Mason Miller. I know they got back some great talent in return. What was your reaction when that went down with Mason Miller?
Well, it was a tough pill to swallow initially, because having a great closer is such a – well, listen, I'm not breaking any new ground by saying this. When you have a great closer, obviously it helps your club. Plus, there's a big psychological advantage when you know that at the back end of the bullpen you can lock things down late when you have the lead. And with a team that was under 500, that's really big to have that confidence. Now, the other side of that was when the Padres agreed to put Leo DeVries in the deal, I think, as David Force said, it put it over the top. And so I'm encouraged by it. And ironically, the A's bullpen has pitched better since they traded Mason. Now, that's strictly coincidental because Mason was great, but they've pitched well. But this kid DeVries, and prospects are prospects until they prove something. So he hasn't proven anything yet. Obviously, at the big league level, he's only 18. He'll be 19 next week. But he's the kind of player that if he had come out of high school at 18, he likely would have been the first pick in the draft or maybe at least the second or third pick. He just had a phenomenal postseason in Double-A in the Texas League. So we're really excited about him.
Yeah, that's amazing if you combine him with Kurtz and Wilson and what's going on. And I think with Mason Miller, too, he struggled a little bit here in the park up in West Sac. His numbers weren't as good, and that might be part of what you're talking about with the pin. It's been better, but Mason wasn't himself initially at the beginning of the year either.
And he's a great kid, too. He did so much in the community, you know, the story of how he's overcome diabetes and dealt with that. He's been a real inspiration for a lot of young people and very willing to share his story in the community. And I know he's done that in San Diego, so we wish Mason the best for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. As we talk with Ken Korak here. And I think one thing baseball fans in general can root the A's on is the way they took the series from the Astros, too, and knocked Houston down a little bit here in the final weekend.
They've done a good job against some of the best teams. They swept the Tigers earlier this year at home. They swept Cincinnati on the last homestand. They went to Houston, and they swept 4 in late July. They just went into Fenway Park on the last road trip and won 2 out of 3. So that really buoys your hopes and confidence going into next year to know that you can go – these guys believe they can go toe-to-toe with the best team.
Yeah, that is very true. Kent, any other, thoughts? Just look back as – I know you might need a little time to – put it in perspective, but just this whole first season and everything going on here in Sacramento.
Well, I really appreciate the support that we've received and that I've received personally. The people who work at the ballpark have been great. So we know that it's not a major league park, and I do miss being at the ballpark when there are 40,000 fans screaming. So we can't escape the fact that it's a smaller park, but I've enjoyed the atmosphere there, and I think we have a good family of broadcasters that we've had a lot of fun, and all of us went over to Steve Sachs's house last night. Nice. Scott, West Sacramento legend, great player for the Dodgers and Yankees and White Sox, and Dusty Baker was there, and Billy North was there. So for me, I'm trying to absorb the history of baseball and the great tradition out here in Sacramento, and I'm trying to learn more and more about that as I go.
No, that's great stuff. My high school coach played baseball in high school with Steve Sachs, so I knew about him for a while back at Marshall High School in West Sac. So
West Sac, there you go.
Some good tradition there.
I've always considered Sacramento to be like the cradle of managers.
Yeah,
you think of all the major league managers that have come out of here. So. I really appreciate that legacy.
That's a great point. Johnny McNamara. Of course, you mentioned
Larry
Dusty
Boa,
Baker.
Buck Martinez, Jerry Manuel, Jerry Royster.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes on and on, right?
Yeah, you're right about that. Jerry Royster, by the way, has a golf tournament on Monday. And I know part for you about being up here, and I know you played in other areas, but you've been able to play some golf up here, and I know that's something you really love to do.
I love it. I have not mastered Cameron Park, but I've enjoyed the experience. That's for sure. Yeah,
no doubt. And with Ryder Cup going on, Ken, I'm just going to branch out a little bit. I've been talking about bucket list events that I've wanted to go to. Ryder Cup's right up there at the top for me, especially on American soil in New York. I'm just wondering your thoughts. Are you taking in the Ryder Cup, and just your thoughts about maybe getting to a golf event like that or some other bucket list for you?
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of it on and off today, for sure. Europe had a great morning session, and they usually play well in alternate shot, which is the way they normally begin the Ryder Cup. I guess this afternoon, the best ball is pretty close, but Yeah, I had the chance to cover the U.S. Open once in 1982, the year that Watson won when he had that great chip in on the 17th.
Right.
So I'd love to go to the Masters too, but some of this stuff, as long as I'm doing baseball, it's pretty difficult to be much of a golf spectator in person, Scott.
That's a good point. That is very fair. Before we let you go, want to get your thoughts on the AL MVP race. Are you thinking Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge?
It's going to be one time, many years ago, there was actually a tie in the American League for the MVP. That's the only time it's happened. I think Raleigh is going to win it, and I don't have a vote, of course. That belongs to the writers, and this is not to disparage Judge, who's having almost a historically great year.
He is.
He's going to be the tallest player ever to win a batting championship. But I think I would go with Raleigh because I just feel like a catcher in all the wear and tear of catching, and his metrics are great behind the plate. He grades out near the top of all the catchers in terms of the way they analyze what catchers do defensively. And to hit 60 home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness. And for the Mariners to win the division for the first time since 2001, and he's been the most valuable player on a team that has done that. I think in a narrow vote, if I had a vote, I would go with Cal Raleigh.
I'm with you on that one. It's extremely close, but to your point, with the way Seattle's finishing the year, and the Yankees are playing great too, but what Seattle's doing for that organization, with him to be the catcher on top of it, I think it gives him a little bit of an extra nod.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
But it'd be great to see someone. I was reading an article somewhere where, name Judge the best overall hitter, and name Raleigh the MVP. That might not mollify the Judge fans, but
no, it won't.
That's kind of the way I see it.
Great. One final question for you, Ken. This is kind of out there, but I always, when I watch an Arizona Cardinals game and I watch Kyler Murray, and of course I know being drafted in the first round by the A's, do you ever think what it might have been like to call some Kyler Murray games?
We were talking about that last night at Saxy's place.
You are thinking about it.
Right?
Okay, good.
There's our center fielder running around being chased by these big linemen who are twice as big as he is. But the ship has sailed on that. He's not coming back to baseball. But sure, and the other thing is it was a first-round pick that the A's lost.
Exactly.
A top 10 pick. So would have liked to have had that one again, I think.
No question. And it's ridiculous to throw out Ricky Henderson comparisons because there's only one Ricky Henderson, of course. But Kyler Murray, it would have been interesting to see what kind of baseball career he could have had.
Well, they were willing to invest an awful lot of money in him, so they certainly believed in him. And we miss Ricky every day, Scott. And as you know, we had our Hall of Fame ceremony a week and a half ago, and he would always be there for those big ceremonies. And, a lot of the A's greats came back, like Dave Stewart and McGuire and Canseco were there. But we really miss Ricky every day.
No question. I had a chance to go to the Hall of Fame ceremony last year in Oakland when he was there, and it was just such a great moment with Canseco going in, and you did a great job hosting that event. And Ken, appreciate your time. Always enjoy having you on. You're an icon in the business, and hopefully we'll get a chance to golf before things are all done this season.
We will tee it up next year.
I love it.
We'll definitely do that. I'm looking forward to next year, Scott.
We will do that.
Thanks for all that you guys have done and done for the A's at KHTK. I've always enjoyed it.
Ken, you're the best.
Okay, buddy.
All right. That's the great Ken Korak joining us, Sacktown Sports 1140. Appreciate his time. And Kyle, the Giants have a great broadcast team. Absolutely no doubt about it. John Miller and Dave Fleming and Kruk and Kipe, they're all just the best. But I just have to say, Ken Korak and what he does with the A's, I just think it's right on the same level. I've always enjoyed listening to Ken Korak call a baseball game, and he's just a class act through and through.
It's been wonderful, Scott, the last, let's call it 4 summers now. I've gotten a chance to listen to Ken Korak night after night, working the games on the station, and now obviously this year I've gotten a chance to be physically there and watch a lot of the A's games this year thanks to working in this industry. And Ken Korak is a wonderful voice, wonderful storyteller, as good as it gets. can't imagine getting to spend 35 years listening to him on the broadcast like many people in this area have had.
A true Hall of Famer. No doubt. He deserves to get in to the Hall in the broadcasting wing. And did you hear him say Cal Raleigh for AL MVP?
Yeah, I do understand. Many of these many baseball people are in on Cal Raleigh, which leads me to think maybe the writers will vote for him as well. Although Judge is Judge.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be one of the closest ballots ever.
Which I think
that's one thing we can agree on.
I think it's good fodder for conversation, too. I mean, in the National League, it's just Ohtani every year. You know, people are going to try and bring Schwarber up, or, a couple of years ago, they'll try to bring Lindor up, but it's good fodder to just have multiple people who are having historically great seasons.
Is there anybody in the National League who even deserves to be considered beyond Ohtani?
No, I mean, this year it's Schwarber, but all of the...
Yeah, 56 home runs now.
Yeah, all of the sports books and people who are invested are like, it's going to be Ohtani running away. He might win it, if not unanimously, pretty close to unanimously. I mean, he's just so far ahead. And this is what it used to be in the American League, too. It was Ohtani versus Judge versus Ohtani. And now that they're in separate leagues, putting up these crazy numbers, it's good to have someone else in the mix.
Yeah, I think Schwarber deserves consideration. He'll get it. I think Ohtani hasn't had as good a year this year as he had last year. I mean, his home run numbers are the same. Obviously, his stolen bases are down. He's pitching this year, too. But the way they used him, he pitched a couple innings here, a couple of innings there. Now he's ready for the postseason. His last outing, those 6 innings were awfully impressive. But just wait till next year when he's back full-time pitching and hitting. Then nobody's going to have a chance to win that MVP.
Well, you, Scott, as someone who watches Ohtani quite closely, shall we say, what do you think about the notion of him going to a long relief role?
No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. He will be the game 1 starter in the wild card round.
But do you think he should make that transition?
I do. Yeah. Okay. I mean, his last outing was 6 shutout innings, threw over 80 pitches. He's ready to be the lead starter again. And that's on a great staff with Yamamoto. You got Glass now, Snell, who is pitching fantastic. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. The Dodgers starting pitching is historically great. It's one of the best starting lineups ever conceived in baseball history. The challenge is that the relief pitching's been terrible this year.
But
terrible.
They're going to keep Ohtani in that starting role for as long as he's able to do it. And, of course, if they're pressed up against elimination, of course, they're just going to throw whoever out
the other thing, too, with that is if he is a relief pitcher, you lose the ability to keep him without having to play a position in the field. You can't use him as a designated hitter in a relief role. You only get to do that if he's starting pitching.
Yeah. So
that's a big piece of it.
This is the interesting conversation, but I understand people are like, well, in theory, if he comes in the 8th and 9th, he won't bat again, all that stuff. But it's interesting fodder for conversation because, again, we've never seen anything like it before. We've never seen a switch hitter hit 60 homers from the catching position, and that competing with Judge, who at least in my lifetime, I've never seen someone be the best average hitter and power hitter at the same time in baseball. So.
No doubt. He's the only player next to Ruth who now has 100 innings pitched and 100 home runs.
Yeah. It's great to have conversations you can literally never have, which is, should your 50 home run, 150 RBI, most runs scored in baseball hitter also be your closer come playoff time?
No question. All right. Our thanks to Ken Korak, longtime friend of the station, giving us his breakdown on the A's, all things baseball. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Ryder Cup. We're going to talk some college football as well. My broadcast partner for the UC Davis game, Scott Gordon, former quarterback, is going to join me. We'll break down the college football weekend. We'll talk some UC Davis football as well, a little Ryder Cup with him also. Kyle, just to know, he had promised me tickets back to the Ryder Cup way back when that he just never came through on. So we're going to have to talk about that a little bit.
Well, maybe in 8 years, he'll have to hook you up.
Yes, exactly. All right. It's Scott Marsh filling in for Alan Stiles right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration.
Thunder.
The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Well, as we close the book on the 25 campaign, there certainly will be optimism for the A's going into the offseason, and largely because of the offensive core. Guys like Butler, Kurtz, Rookers, Soderstrom, Langoliers, and Wilson. Now they're going to need some additions going into next year, but the foundation is certainly in place.
Welcome to Dugout Radio, the undisputed home of Boomtown Baseball.
The Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity, baby. Our next caller is
Stacy, how do you stay locked in on every pitch and play?
We stream it all live on Xfinity Internet with low lag, 99.99% network reliability, and speeds faster than a base runner beating the throw to home plate.
I stream on my TV, tablets, even my smart fridge.
Smart fridge?
With all those games, we gotta refuel.
Stream live baseball with Wi-Fi built for the biggest moments. Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER. Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something?
Boat wins!
Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing?
Boat wins!
Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing?
Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Welcome back into the Alan Stiles Show. Scott Marsh filling in today. Alan's back Monday. He'll be out at Media Day. We'll all be out at Media Day. Kings getting ready to open up training camp. The 2025-26 season is upon us. Are the Kings ready to give it a run? We're going to start asking that question directly on Monday. Stay tuned to Sacktown Sports all Monday long. We'll be out there, wall-to-wall coverage, as we'll have all the players and coaches on, getting you ready for the start of the season. Will Jonathan Kuminga be out there on Monday? Who knows? A trade could get done on the weekend. We'll see. Lots of rumors swirling. Trade talk still between the Kings and Warriors. We'll find out if that is for real really soon as the October 1st deadline, and that qualifying offer that needs to get done is approaching next week as well.
One I'm more interested in, though, is what's going to happen to the Warriors Media Day, because they can't sign any of their players.
Exactly. They're in the same position. Their Media Day should be Monday as well, I believe.
It's supposed to be, but there might only be 6 people there.
And they may plan it that way.
It's just going to be Quentin Post and Jimmy Butler wearing some silly outfit.
Yeah, and Jimmy Butler, when he had his own individual workouts earlier.
Yeah, let's call it an unsanctioned training camp. we'll say.
The reports were no Kuminga.
No Kuminga, but D'Anthony Melton was there, allegedly.
Interesting. Our topic of the day is what's your bucket list sporting event you haven't been able to get to just yet. I bring it up because Ryder Cup is one of mine, and certainly with it in New York at Bethpage Black, that's where I'd like to be this weekend, rooting on the American team who is tied 2-2 in the 4-ball competition. They're down 3-1 right now as they went down 3-1 in the foursome play earlier this morning. All of these matches are right around 8th to the 10th hole at Bethpage Black. So call in and give us your dream scenario. We had this from the 775. I've lived in California all my life, yet I'm a huge Vikings fan. Definite bucket list we would be to go to Minnesota at US Bank Stadium. Heard the atmosphere is electric. Certainly looks like it on TV. That would be a lot of fun. Somebody talking about the Ryder Cup. Why are tickets so expensive? Hearing they're $600 for an average ticket. I'm sure it's pricey, no doubt about it. Don't know as much about that. I'm not there, so I didn't get a chance to try and buy a ticket. But I'm sure it's not cheap. But for a once-in-a-lifetime event, you might shell that out if it's that important to you. Let's see here. Who do you take, the Packers or the Broncos defense this week? Any thoughts on that one?
Fantasy football purposes?
Fantasy football, yep.
I mean, Micah Parsons going to get at least one sack, we would imagine. Against,
I think the over-under is going to be 2 or 3, right?
2 or 3. I mean, that's hard to do. The Cowboys' offensive line isn't awful, at least.
He's been banged up, too.
Oh, for sure. I'm trying to remind myself, who are the Broncos playing this week?
The Broncos.
Monday against Jake Browning. Folsom's Jake Browning.
That's right. You might have to go with Denver.
Yeah, I'd say I'll go Packers. So we helped you not at all, Texter.
No, I'm going to say Denver on that one. Denver has one of the best defenses, and the Bengals without Joe Burrow.
Cowboys without...
On the road, in Mile High.
Cowboys without CeeDee Lamb, though, this week.
True. That's true. That's a huge loss.
Yeah. So we're not going to help you much here, text line. We're split decision.
We really did
We should have asked Ken Korak.
Yes, we should have asked Ken on that one. We did ask what team would do better without their MVP caliber player, the Mariners or the Yankees? I think that's getting at what the true definition of MVP is. You would feel like the Yankees would be better able to hold off without Aaron Judge than the Mariners would be this season without Cal Raleigh.
I feel like that's just the catcher thing, right? Is what Cal Raleigh brings you at the catcher position makes him inherently more valuable, right? Yeah. If you drop him on the Yankees, he's filling a position, not a position of need, but just a position that you can't get anywhere else versus Judge in the outfield. Oh, a Julio Rodriguez, Aaron Judge outfield would be great, though.
No doubt. Yes, that would be something else. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Our good friend Steven calling in. Steven, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Scotty. How are you, buddy?
Doing great. It's good to hear from you. It's been too long. How are you?
It has been a very long time, my friend. Very long time, man. Good to hear from you as well. So I watched a lot of, like, I wouldn't say trash TV, but I watch a lot of, like, TV shows and stuff like that. And I was watching a TV show called Landman.
Okay.
And about a good way through the second season, you hear this voice before they pan into the room and put him on camera, and it's Jerry Jones.
Yes.
And I remember this scene specifically. Now, I've never been a Jerry Jones guy, but this one scene really kind of like changed my entire perspective on him because the story that he was sharing, I felt like he wasn't necessarily acting. I felt like he was really, I mean, he had a little bit of a story with him, but I really honestly felt like his entire little monologue there was truly authentic. It felt real that he wanted to buy the Cowboys so he could work with just his children, that he just wanted to provide a working place for his children. And it was beautiful. And honestly, it changed my entire perspective about Jerry Jones and how I feel about him, and I always have. But I just wanted to share that. And then,
have you seen America's Team? Have you been watching that?
I have not watched it. And ever since I saw that episode, like last week, man, I've been really wanting to kind of like dive into that and like at least give it a shot.
Check it out.
Because
Check it out.
I grew up.
Yeah.
Definitely will. I definitely will. So my dream event to go to, I'm a big Formula One fan.
Okay.
I love Formula One. I love everything about it. So just to go to a race, I would love to go to Austin, the Circuit of the Americas out there, because that is a purpose-built Formula One track. It was built specifically to draw Formula One to America, and that would be it. But I mean, 2,000 for a weekend of racing is kind of a lot.
That's steep.
So definitely a bucket list item. So, all right, boys, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you. Have a good day.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Stephen. If you want to join us, 916-339-1140. You know, it's interesting. I was just watching F1 last night with Brad Pitt. Good movie. Yes, I was at K1 Speed yesterday racing karts. We had a little vaudeville team building yesterday, which was a lot of fun.
Were you a big winner?
I can't say I was a big winner. In fact, I was called out because I was going to be put into the slow group, and I protested, so we all raced together because I was basically going to walk out, take my helmet, and leave if that was the case.
Wow.
So, but no, I did not. I was not the big winner yesterday, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
Big dreams, but not big results.
I was talking to our guy Andy, and he said he came in 4th. So I'm still curious who the big winner was.
The big winner was JC.
That makes sense.
Yeah, JC.
JC was a great sales guy downstairs. He was our big winner.
Still is. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, but no, that America's Team on Netflix, I think, is really good. There's lots of great documentaries. That is certainly one of them if you want to delve into it. Ryder Cup right now, it's even 2-2 in the afternoon matches here. Again, the U.S. is down 3-1. Cam Young and Justin Thomas are up 3-9. Ben Griffin and Bryson DeChambeau up 1-10. On the European side, Rahm and Straka up 2 on Scheffler and Spahn, and McIlroy and Lowry up 2 on Sam Burns, Patrick Cantlay. This event will go through the weekend tomorrow and Sunday with rounds as well. As we said, it's a big college football weekend. We're looking forward to delving into that. A lot of great top 25 games. It's been kind of a weak schedule the last couple of weekends, but this week makes up for it. I mean, there are some seriously good games this week.
Rematch of the conference title game in the Big Ten last year.
Yeah, huge game with Oregon and Penn State, and that's the whiteout game in Happy Valley. Penn State's a team to rank 3rd in the country, but they've got to prove it. They just have never stepped up beyond the level of Michigan or Ohio State. This might be the year they try to do it, but now they got to face an Oregon team that's right there in the Big Ten, right in their way.
Kind of seemed like last year was the year for them. They finally won the playoff game. They got to the semifinal, and then they just blew it.
They just haven't been able to get over the final hurdle, that's for sure. Alabama at Georgia. Bama, of course, got blown out in week 1 against Florida State. We'll see if they can rebound in Athens. You've got LSU and Ole Miss. That's a big SEC game. LSU's 4th in the country, finally off to a good start under Brian Kelly. They've struggled big time before. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. That E60's out on Lane Kiffin. I haven't seen that yet. I want to check that out. You've got SC undefeated, taking on Illinois. He just got absolutely blasted by Indiana last week. So a lot of good games that are on tap. We'll break that all down. Scott Gordon, who's my broadcast colleague for the UC Davis game, is going to join us here in the next segment. We'll talk a little bit about the Aggies. We'll talk a little bit about the Hornets. We'll talk all things top 25 as well. And, of course, we're going to give you our predictions coming up in the next hour for all the NFL games. Get you ready for an NFL weekend as well. This is Scott Marsh. I'm filling in for Alan Stiles. Kyle Ledbetter's here as well. It's Sacktown Sports 1140.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
I'm with Vince Bloom, the big guy at Folsom Lake Dodge.
The weather's getting colder, but the deals are just heating up.
And during the Drive into Fall event at Folsom Lake Dodge, save over $10,000 net savings off MSRP on a new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. That's over 19% off.
Now, that's a hot deal.
At Folsom Lake Dodge.
In the Folsom Auto Mall and online at FolsomLakeDodge.com.
Grand Cherokee includes $45.25 dealer discount plus $5,500 in national retail loyalty and select inventory bonus cash. Vince S86 67 701 62 93 87 66 94 58. See for details. Expires 9/30/25.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Sacktown Sports has your ticket to the biggest live events going on in our region. First up, get in the game Halloween weekend at the Sinners and Saints Halloween Party and Costume Contest at the venue at Thunder Valley, October 25th. Then, country fans, the spotlight's on the brand new Channel 24 venue in Sacramento as Cameron Marlowe takes the stage October 28th. Comedy lovers, don't miss the one and only Trevor Noah, November 9th at the venue at Thunder Valley. The action keeps rolling with Jesse McCartney at Channel 24 Sacramento on November 14th. The same night, legends, the Isley Brothers bring the soul to Hard Rock Live. Rock icons Heart storm Hard Rock Live on November 21st, followed by the Stray Cats November 23rd. Laugh it up with Mike Epps on December 5th at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. Sacktown Sports is your home court for live events. Head to sacktownsports.com. That's sacktownsports.com for more info.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's Drive into Fall sales event?
Not only can you save up to $12,000 off MSRP on brand new 2025 Ram 25 and 3500s, but qualifying work trucks may be 100% deductible under Section 179. Plus, with nearly 500 Rams available, including those hard-to-find heavy duties, your next Ram is waiting at Hoblet.
Man, you're just piling on the savings this month.
As a fifth-generation dealer, we know a great customer experience is important, and we have dozens of customer service awards to prove it. You won't find a better selection of new Rams, savings, or service than at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center in Woodland.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$12,000 net savings on select new 2025 Ram 2500 Laramie after $2,500 factory rebates and $9,500 dealer discount. Rebates include $500 on-the-job upfit. Must show eligible upfit. Only certain trucks qualify for 100% deduction under Section 179. Consult a tax professional. Aid of the net savings. See dealer for details.
Listen to the 49er Rewind daily. Brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza, the way it ought to be.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back into the Alan Stiles Show here, right? It's here on Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh filling in with Kyle Ledbetter, and it'll be our final day. I should say mine. Kyle, of course, will be back here. He's part of the Alan Stiles Show. Alan back on Monday. It's media day. We'll all be out at Golden One Center, the practice facility, as we'll be talking to all the Kings players and coaches, getting you everything you need to know as the season gets ready to start. The latest on the Jonathan Kuminga situation. We'll talk to Doug Christie. And we'll talk to Malik Monk, see what he has to say as well. We'll see who's all out there and talking and getting you ready for this exciting upcoming Sacramento Kings season. But right now, we want to focus in on some college football. We're going to bring in my analyst who I work with on all the UC Davis games, former quarterback at Arizona, Scott Gordon. Scott, first of all, before we get going on our college football talk, you and I are big Ryder Cup fans. I know you're watching it all day long. I am disappointed with you because over the course of the last year or so, you hinted, you kind of promised that you had some connections with the Ryder Cup and that we might somehow be back at Bethpage Black rooting on the USA team. And all I know is I'm sitting in a studio here talking to you over a phone.
Yeah, I'm on my couch. Yeah, trust me, I have an axe to grind. A fraternity brother of mine, good friend, is the tournament director. And I don't know if I call him a good friend, just a friend, maybe, an acquaintance at this point. He worked very hard to get me in on the media side of it. And at the very end, he said, I think I can get you tickets. And I just, for some reason, the opportunity to call a game with you on Saturday took precedence as I sit here and watch it on my couch.
You don't have to lie to me on, over the airwaves here. Come on now.
Well, I got my legs crossed. It's okay. I can get away with that any way I want. No problem.
Those tickets aren't cheap, by the way, too. I know they're, I think, average price $600 and above, something like that. But in my opinion, well worth it. I said it's one of the bucket list events I've always wanted to get to.
No doubt. You and I have both done the bucket list. Augusta, we talked about that a little bit last week. But, the next one's in Ireland, and I'm going to get to one of these days.
Olympic Club in 2033. That's what I've game planned out.
That is drivable. That is literally go right down there. So I'm gonna be all over my buddy John Hanley. You can look him up. I just called him out on radio
exactly.
Waves. So there we go. Yeah.
All right, let's get to some college football talk. I want to talk top 25, some huge games, but I want to talk, first of all, local games. UC Davis hosting Weber State, Big Sky opener. Davis bringing out their Tahoe jerseys tomorrow night for the first time, the alternate jerseys. They're going to look great. They're going to be at home coming off the record-breaking crowd of over 17,000 people out there last week. How do you size up tomorrow's game for the Ags?
You got to give both of these teams a ton of credit. Weber State started against 2 FBS teams, then they went to McNeese. UC Davis, of course, starting with 3 road games as well. So coming into this game with 2 wins for both these teams, says a lot about who they are and what they can be. And if history is any indication of what the future will be, 2022, the last time Weber played Davis, they left with a win 17-12 in a very frustrating game for the Aggies. They had 5 possessions in the red zone, left with 3 field goals. And then the last time they played in 2023, it was a 17-16 win in Ogden, Utah. So, both teams have young quarterbacks. Both teams rely on the running game. Like anything in a conference game, it's going to come down to turnovers and the ability to convert in the red zone. And I feel like the Aggies have the advantage in terms of their running attack with the dual ability to run both with quarterbacks and running backs. But I think it's going to be a really close game, and I really think it's going to come down to red zone and turnovers. And if whoever wins the red zone battle, whoever wins the turnover battle has a great shot at winning the game.
Yeah, no, these teams have opened up league play for the last 9 years. They're good rivals. It should be a fun game, big crowd. Ags are going to look great in the New Jersey. So I'm looking forward to it. You and I have the TV call on Channel 58. And ESPN Plus, and of course Greg Wong and John Grant will have the radio call right here, Sacktown Sports, beginning at 6:30. All right, Sacramento State's at home as well. They get Cal Poly. They don't call it the Battle for the Golden Horseshoe. I don't know if they've got a name for that game or not, like Davis and Cal Poly does. But how do you break down the Hornets right now?
Well, maybe it's just the Battle of green jerseys.
There we go.
Green
I like that. Yes,
they're both obviously huge rivals for UC Davis. To me, this is a who are they really kind of game because Sac State looks like they finally settled in a quarterback with Cordell Williams being their starter. The offense seems to be clicking on all cylinders. They beat Mercyhurst, who's a pretty good team, but rolled a Central Arkansas team that we're not sure about. And for Cal Poly, they opened the season with a very convincing win on the road at San Diego. They seem to have the same quarterback 5 weeks in a row, which is not something they've had in the last couple of years. So Paul Wolf, former Aggie assistant, takes his team on the road to play at Sacramento State, and you really feel like you're going to get a good understanding on who these two teams are after this one. Is Sac State for real? Will they win 3 in a row? Is Cal Poly really turning the corner from an offensive standpoint, and are they going to win 3 games? I think it's a tough test for Cal Poly on the road at Sac State. Sac State coming off 2 victories, but still, again, like every Big Sky game, when you're at home, you got to take advantage of them. It's going to be a statement game for whoever wins.
Yeah, got to win your home games. Okay, let's look nationally. There are some great top 25 games. Last week was kind of a weak slate. This week, not the case at all. Several massive games. Let's start in Happy Valley, the whiteout game. Penn State hosts Oregon, number 3 versus number 6. The Nittany Lions, a lot of pressure on them to win a big game. How do you size this up?
Well, I hope Oregon, because they get to have a little bit of fun with their jerseys, comes out in all white. And then you got Penn State with white, blue, white. They're not sure what the heck's going on. But the big question is this, and you know exactly what it is James Franklin and Penn State. They always have a very high winning percentage. They're always in the top 10 or top 15. But they're 4-20 against top 10 teams. You know, they have got to turn the page and get a win at home against Oregon. And for Oregon, they've looked fantastic. But as you look at their competition, yeah, they beat Oregon State 41-7. Yeah, they beat a pretty bad Oklahoma State team that just lost to Tulsa and fired their coach. Beat Montana State convincingly. So this is obviously the biggest game of the day. But really, you know, I think Oregon, if they lose a close one, can survive. And if you're Penn State, with that in the back of your mind, that storyline of can they win the big game at home? You know, they didn't do it last year against Ohio State. If they can get it done, this helps them out a lot. They also have an opportunity later in the year at home against Indiana. I don't think they're as good as Oregon, but obviously a very good team. So, you know, Penn State's just going to have to take care of their business. And as Coach Tim Plow says at UC Davis, Oregon, the defense needs to travel and the running game needs to travel. I still think Oregon is way too athletic for Penn State. I look to see the Ducks getting the road win.
All right, big win for the Ducks, and there's a lot of Oregon fans in this area as well, of course. Alabama at Georgia. Bama still reeling from that loss to Florida State, who's actually pretty good, but that loss may not be as bad as it seemed like on the opening week. But anytime you go between the hedges in Athens to take on the Dogs, this is a tough matchup for Kalen DeBoer's team.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for Kalen DeBoer's team, but they seem to step up when there's a tough matchup, and then they seem to fall off when they're favored, you know. And they go on the road. They know exactly who they're going up against, and Kirby Smart. You know, this is a conference game. And, you know, the last couple home games that Georgia's had, you know, especially against tough opponents like Georgia Tech, you know, in their finisher last game of the season, Georgia Tech outplayed them for a good chunk of the game. I think people are really starting to try to figure out what exactly Georgia is. Obviously, they're home. They're going to be the favorite. It's going to be a great environment, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Alabama come out with a lot of fireworks. This is a huge opportunity for them. First week of the season, they lose to Florida State. They're kind of been under toes here of what are they, who can they be, and got a great opportunity to really shut a lot of people up and put that Florida State game in the rearview mirror if they're able to get it done on the road. I think it's a tall task, but it's been done before.
No doubt. All right, you've got LSU and Ole Miss both 4-0. That's an electric game. Brian Kelly finally off to a good start in Baton Rouge. The game I think you and I are really interested in, Washington's not ranked, but they're taking on number 1 Ohio State. They're at home. We know how great that home environment is. We've been there just a couple of weeks ago. Can the Huskies pull off the big-time upset?
Well, you know, going back to LSU, Ole Miss real quick, I mean, the personality of the coaches, it's almost you almost wish they were on like Crossfire and they could debate each other. But we'll see what happens there. Ole Miss outplayed them last year, didn't get the win at LSU. But, it's so hard to imagine what we saw live with our own 2 eyes with Washington, with Jonah Coleman at running back, so impressive, the transfer from Arizona, Damon Williams. I think Washington is sneaky, sneaky good. They dominated in the Apple Cup. Obviously blew out the Aggies. They bring in an Ohio State team, and the big question for me, a night game at that stadium where they've won 21 in a row, I would not be shocked at all to see Washington pull the upset over Ohio State. They are as fast and electric as an offense as I've seen.
Yeah, no doubt. 12:30 kickoff at Husky Stadium. That's going to be a lot of fun. I know you've got a lot of family interest with SC. They're in the top 25 now. They're at Illinois, who just got beaten down by Indiana, another team you know well with your son going to school there at IU. What do you see on the Trojans on the road in Champaign?
Yeah, obviously 2 games I'm paying attention to. USC goes on the road. You know, they beat Michigan State. A big question mark is Illinois. You know, how do you respond when you get beat 63-10? USC goes out there, and if they're able to get the win, I really think it knocks Illinois out of the top 25 and it puts USC a little bit in more of the playoff discussion if they can go get a big road win out there. Offense has been very, very good. Had a funky win against Purdue that was hit by weather and delayed by 3 hours. You and I personally know what that feels like with our experience. But I really think the USC offense and their running game is hitting on all cylinders, and they've got a great opportunity to get a statement road win against a ranked team. And then the other one that I'm really curious about is Indiana. They're 4-0, but they've done it all at home. They actually go on the road to a very difficult place to play in Iowa to see if they can get it done. And Kirk Ferentz and Iowa, when they're at home, they're just a different team. So that'll be a big test for the Indiana Hoosiers. Both teams that I have my eyes on the road this week. And if they can get wins, I think it goes a long way for them to be in that playoff discussion down the end of the year.
No doubt Indiana with their Cal transfer quarterback. They are the story of college football right now. Kirk Cignetti has done a tremendous job. All right, Scott, as always, great to talk to you. Look forward to the call tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun out at UC Davis Health Stadium.
Can't wait for it. Thanks, Scotty.
All right, take care. That's Scott Gordon, broadcast analyst for UC Davis football, former quarterback at Arizona. He knows it's college football stuff. We'll take the break. When we come back, we're going to break down NFL football. We're going to go around and give you our takes on every game going on in the National Football League on Sunday, and, of course, the Monday night game as well. This is Scott Marsh filling in for Alan Stiles right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, I'm Frank Cockrell with Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. Retailers across the U.S. are slashing their seasonal hiring plans, the lowest level since 2009, raising red flags about the outlook for the holiday shopping season. Firms like Challenger, Gray, and Christmas estimate only 520,000 new seasonal jobs in quarter four, down from the 564,200 a year ago. Industry analysts say the pullback reflects more than just the cost control. Inflation, wary customers, and tighter household budgets all play a role. Retailers are shifting strategies favoring overtime for existing staff rather than adding new heads. Lower hiring may be a signal. Companies now expect subdued holiday demand, not a boom. And for the retail sector, this could mean earnings pressure, weaker revenue forecasts, and a re-rating of what has once been a steady growth engine. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Mosaic Wealth, member FINRA SIPC. Mosaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Mosaic Wealth.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Into 11/1 select models only.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you're not looking for a brand new car, at Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. We've kept only the best of our trades, and our buyer has found some of the finest pre-owned Hondas available in Northern California. You can see for yourself at elkgrovehonda.com. Whether you purchase a brand new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, your car buying experience will be the same. We have the right Honda at the right price. You'll find us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters.
Attention former and present inmates of women's prisons in California. If you are currently or were an inmate of Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, also known as Chowchilla Women's Facility, Valley State Prison for Women in Chowchilla, Institute for Women in Chino, or Folsom Women's Facility in Represa, and were a victim of sexual abuse, now is the time to come forward. as you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. If you were an inmate at any of these prisons at any time and were subjected to sexual abuse from staff members, you may be entitled to substantial cash compensation. Call our California Women's Prison Helpline now at 800-408-1240. The deadline to file a claim may be close. Call now to get the justice, closure, and the financial settlement you deserve. Even if it was long ago, call our law firm's Women's Prison Sexual Abuse Helpline right now at 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Live and local
It's Alan Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
Final hour of the Alan Stiles Show. Scott Marsh, Philly, and Kyle Ledbetter here. Drive Guys coming up 2 to 6 tonight on remote. They're at a huge sports card show going on at the fairgrounds in Roseville. If you are a collector, you need to get out there. And Kevin and Kyle will be out there with you, and lots of big-time celebrity signers as well. So make sure to check that out. I'm going to try and get out there. I know it's going on over the weekend as well.
Imran was going down the list of guests with me the other day.
It's awesome.
So many people.
Yeah, be pretty cool. So I know Spud Webb's going to be out there signing autographs, which is cool.
Also, I think there's going to be like 5 A's players out there. So baseball, basketball, football.
Lance Blankenship.
Yeah.
Going to be out there. So pretty
everyone
cool stuff.
is going to be
there. That's cool. So make sure to get out there. And, of course, they'll have all the information. They'll be on site broadcasting live from there this afternoon. If you want to call us, 916-339-1140. You can text us as well. This coming in on the 916, a little WNBA talk. Who do I like between the Fever and the Aces now that that's tied at 1 apiece? Of course, the Aces, the defending champs. Indiana Fever, no Caitlin Clark winning game 1. Pretty impressive. And, I think the Aces are going to win this series. I'm just disappointed we haven't had a chance to see Caitlin Clark play that much this year. I mean, all the injuries, everything else that's been going on this season, it's been unfortunate.
So they lost, I want to say, their 3 best players or 3 of their 4 best players to injury, and yet they still won their first-round series, which is pretty crazy. But it's now or never for them because they're 5-game series. So
no doubt. But the league needs Caitlin Clark in this series, right? I mean, moving forward, they've got to figure out a way to keep her healthier, right? Don't they?
It depends. The diehards will get excited about it either way, but I would imagine the Fever playoff atmosphere is going to be a little bit different knowing Caitlin Clark isn't going to be there. But like I said, it's now or never for them because they theoretically could win Game 3 and Game 4 and be in the finals without Caitlin Clark.
But it doesn't feel that way. No. And, of course, the Valkyries had a tremendous season, and that was a ton of fun for them and the run they had earlier this year also. So I missed the WNBA. I wish we had it back in Sacramento. I mean, it's great that it's in San Francisco, and, of course, we can go see games there. But I miss the days of the Monarchs, and I know 20 years ago, we were celebrating a WNBA championship in this series.
I did see that. Gary Gerald sent his championship ring photo today, 20 years ago today. So pretty cool.
I'm lucky enough to have one of those as well.
Ooh, I gotta see the Scott Marsh photo. See, G-Man's already posted his in the box. We got to get Scott Marsh with it on his finger.
When I get home, I will do that for you.
Yeah, post it on
social. Send you a picture. That was really cool. And the parade downtown, marching through on the cars. That was a lot of fun.
Can imagine.
Great time. Great time. All right, let's get into some NFL talk here. As promised, we said we would give you our picks for Week 4 in the National Football League. Yep, fire up the music. Let's get this thing started. It starts overseas in Dublin, Ireland. You got a matchup of 2-2-1 teams, the Vikings and the Steelers. Who do you bet on, Aaron Rodgers or Carson Wentz?
Feels weird to say the Vikings are 2-1, but they are. So I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Now, the Wins' fourth quarter comeback against Chicago and then a blowout win against Cincinnati without Joe Burrow.
Sure.
So
I mean, the 48-3 win last week was pretty out of nowhere, I'd say. But Pittsburgh Pittsburgh is going to be a very good team. I'm not going to go so far as to say playoffs, but they are a better offense this year than they have been in years past.
Aaron Rodgers makes them better. There's no question.
And DK
about
Metcalf has been huge.
That's true, too. All right, I'm going with the Steelers as well in this one. All right, we move along back to the U.S. side of things. You've got the Commanders in Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Washington 2-1 coming off the win against the Raiders. And you got the Falcons at home who are just trying to figure out who to play at quarterback.
Well, the Commanders also are going to be without their quarterback.
That's true.
Week.
No Jaden Daniels.
No Jaden Daniels.
Marcus Mariota filled in well.
This week, though, Terry McLaurin has been ruled out for the Commandos. So it's going to be Marcus Mariota to Deebo Samuel just all game long. Man, Scott, we were on here last week, and I said, and I've apologized already this week, but I said the Carolina Panthers are the worst defense in the NFL, and they blanked the Falcons. 0 points for the Falcons. And I'm sorry, I just can't pick the Falcons anymore.
Well, Penix hasn't been good so far, and you've got Kirk Cousins sitting on the bench, and you feel like that's bubbling up. So I wonder what's going to happen there. I'm going to go with Washington as well on the ring.
Yeah, I'm just not going to pick the Falcons until further notice.
Yep, I agree. All right, this game we don't really need to talk about. We will acknowledge it, though. New Orleans in Buffalo to take on the Bills. I will say it would be the biggest upset of the season, if not for multiple years, if New Orleans wins this game.
Hey, what did I tell you? If you're playing in your Survivor leagues, just pick against the Saints every week, and you've got yourself a good shot. So it doesn't matter if you use Buffalo now, because Buffalo's not going to play the Saints again this year. Just keep picking against the Saints.
I know. I should have saved Buffalo. I took them to beat Miami, which happened, of course, so I survived and advanced.
Good choice.
But if I'd looked down the road, I might have chosen somebody else.
Hey, there's plenty of options on the table. Just my strategy of pick against the Saints seems to be doing all right.
It's pretty good. And, you know, anybody who's in a Survivor League, they understand it's about surviving and advancing. You can't save picks for future weeks. I mean, you can map out and say, I'm going to pick here, and then 2 weeks I'll save to pick this one team there. It doesn't work that way.
Well, that's the neat thing. If you just pick against the Saints every week, you only got to find 3 weeks that aren't Saints teams, just the repeats.
True. All right, Browns in Detroit to take on the Lions. The Browns, with that incredible comeback at home, caught everybody off guard against the Packers, 13-10. They got that late interception in the game that turned that one around. The Lions, with an impressive win on Monday night against the Ravens, as Baltimore falls to 1-2. The Lions seem to be back after that opening week loss to the Pack.
You know, Scott, going into the year, I thought the Lions were poised for a step back because they had 2 new coordinators. Their Hall of Fame center had retired. And week 1, it was looking like all of my concerns were coming to fruition. And then they've scored 90 points in the last 2 weeks. So that offense has not skipped a beat without Ben Johnson being gone. So they're obviously going to win this week. But I think the more interesting conversation with Detroit is just where all the pieces fit together.
Well, you know, obviously might be a bit of a stretch. I mean, the Lions should win this game.
Look, we talked about the Lions are averaging 45 points.
No, I hear you, but I mean,
the Browns, give them credit, they beat the Packers last week.
They did.
And everybody thought Green Bay was the best team in the league going into that game.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
So I'm going to say obviously might be a stretch.
The problem for the Browns, though, is that they are incapable of scoring more than 17 points in a football game. So as long as the Lions can get to 17, they will win.
Fair enough. At home, Jared Goff's looked great early on, and the Lions are going to win this one. They're going to roll. All right, your Panthers take on the Patriots. That game is in Foxborough. Both teams are 1-2. Who do you like in this one? Although the Patriots are 0-2 at home, and the Panthers are 0-2 on the road. So,
not sure what to do with this one at all. My beloved Panthers, who I doubted, the Carolina Panthers, who blanked the Falcons after I said they're the worst defense. By the way, I'm going with Raiders are the new worst defense in the league now. But, yeah, what the heck? I'll take the Panthers. The Patriots are really bad, but they're making the right decisions to get good. They just need like 2 or 3 good drafts in a row to be able to build something. There's just not enough talent right now.
I like Drake May.
I think Drake May is a franchise quarterback, but he has not enough receiving help. they tried to patch it together with Stephon Diggs, and that hasn't worked. They still got a draft on the offensive line. They still got a draft on the defense. They're a couple of years away, but they're trending in the right direction.
The Panthers, maybe 60% of the time they show up 100%, something like that.
Say it's closer to 30%, Scott. I mean, this is still the team that has not won 7 games since, I want to say 2018 might have been the last. Like, they've been bad for a really long time.
That is true. Okay, Chargers, and I'm going to take the Patriots in that game as well. So, Chargers and the Giants. The Chargers have 3 in their column. The Giants have 3 in their column, just on the opposite sides. The Chargers still undefeated under Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh. The Giants, well, they're blowing it up. They said they weren't going to do this, but after 3 weeks and what happened on Sunday Night Football to the Chiefs, and Russell Wilson looking as he did, they are going to Jackson Dart, who is going to be the starter for this game, his first start in a Giants jersey. Do they have any shot at MetLife against the undefeated Chargers?
Absolutely, Scott, because they are embracing the future. It is time for Jackson Dart, Sacramento Scadaboo, and Malik Neighbors to finally all play together for the New York Giants, which is probably what they should have done.
Scadaboo was great on Sunday night, by the way.
Scadaboo is... Look, we all knew Scadaboo was going to be excellent in the NFL.
I don't know if we knew this.
I mean, we still don't know what he will be.
No, it's one game, but still.
He's now the starting running back for the Giants. They were flexing him and Tracy to start the year. They've finally done the right thing and leaned all the way in. Is it going to save Brian Daboll's job? No. But
I don't think so either.
But they might win this week, and that is good for them. I'm still going to take the Chargers because I'm a coward.
Well, by all accounts, they're so high on Jackson Dart and what he's going to be able to do. But his first week going up against San Diego and that Chargers defense. And to me right now, if the season ended, Justin Herbert's your MVP. So I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm with you too, just because the Chargers appear to be really good.
Yep.
I still want to believe Kansas City can catch them, but they look very good.
All right. The game of the day, perhaps, Eagles and Buccaneers. This game's in Tampa. Both teams undefeated. Both teams have a string of last-second wins, literally. Blocked field goal by the Eagles, and they survive against the Rams. And Baker Mayfield's been Houdini so far in the NFL with all the comeback wins. Who gets this one?
So Baker Mayfield, I believe, has 0 interceptions so far this season, which is...
That is correct. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yeah, so that kind of means he's due for one coming up here, and we know how excellent the Eagles secondary is here. So I'm going to take the Eagles because the Eagles are the best team in football, and it would be foolish to pick against them. But Tampa Bay is...
Are the Eagles the best team in football?
In my book, yes. Okay. I think the Eagles are the best.
They're the defending champs. Okay,
and
I don't think they've looked like the best team in football so far this year.
No, but they've also given me no reason to believe they aren't going to be excellent. Like, for example, the Baltimore Ravens. Excellent on offense. A lot of questions on defense.
They were pushed by the Cowboys on opening night.
The Eagles, yes.
If they hadn't had a Travis Kelce drop football, they may lose to Kansas City. And if they don't block 2 fourth-quarter field goals against the Rams, they lose at home to L.A.
That's totally fair.
So does that sound like the best team in football right now?
In my book, I'm going to go with the best team in football because other than the Josh Allen Buffalo Bills, who have the best offense in the NFL, there's been no other 3-0 team that hasn't also been tested kind of similarly. Even the Chargers had to have a comeback last week.
All right, I'm going to go with the Bucs in this game.
Ooh, I like it.
I'm going to go with the Bucs. The Eagles, to me, they're like Kansas City was last year. They're winning a lot of one-score games, and that's great. They're a great team, no question. I don't think it's the Eagles' year this year.
Well,
I just don't think it is.
I don't know if it'll be the Eagles' year or not. I mean, there's a bunch of very good jumble bucket NFC teams, and we just saw the Rams basically beat them for 2.5 quarters. I will say, though, that the safety blanket is out. No Mike Evans for the Bucs.
True. That's a big loss, no doubt. But I think this is the week they start officiating the tush-push. I think we start seeing some laundry on the field when they run that play.
We'll see.
There's too much visibility now with that.
The first time they call a false start, though, it's going to be a topic. It's going to be a talking point.
All right. Let's move over to a much less interesting much less interesting game. The Titans and the Texans, the Ophers. They're both 0 for 3. I think the Texans are a better team than the Titans, but they certainly have not proved it so far.
Yeah, like any other team you'd be playing, you'd be like, uh-oh, what's happening to the Texans? Like, is this the biggest disappointment in the NFL? But the Titans, it's week 4, the Titans already have a new play caller. Their coach already had to give up play calling duties. They just traded a starting quarterback this week, so the Titans are not even pretending that this thing is going in the right direction. So I'm going to go with the Texans.
Yeah, Texans are at home. They're over a touchdown favorites. Yeah.
The Titans are such a tire fire right now.
They are. All right, good game here. Colts and Rams, this game at SoFi. Indianapolis is still undefeated. Daniel Jones may be the best quarterback so far in the league, numbers-wise. Hasn't thrown a pick, thrown for 800 yards, running the football all over the field. The Rams, again, if they had a line that could protect a field goal, would be undefeated right now. They've played well. Puka Nacua is playing at an MVP level at wide receiver. Rams are favored. Who do you like?
I like the Rams because the Rams are probably a field goal away from being the best team in the NFC, a blocked field goal against the Eagles. But this Indianapolis thing, I'm not saying it's going to lead them to the AFC Championship or anything, but this Indianapolis thing, I think they're probably going to win that division, and they're probably going to deserve it. You know, a lot of years the AFC South is like, whoever happens to get it at the end, but Colts look like they're headed for a 10-11 win season potentially.
Yeah.
If you look at that schedule, that's not terrible for them.
Big fan of Shane Steichen, of course, locally here from
big,
El Dorado.
Big make or break season, and it was risky going with Daniel Jones over the high picked quarterback in Anthony Richardson. It's working out.
It's working out. All right. Here's the game of the week, perhaps, in terms of two teams that must have a win in this one. Baltimore and Kansas City. I mean, their seasons aren't over if they lose, but boy, they're in a deep hole if they are. Ravens 1-2, Chiefs 1-2. This game is at Arrowhead. Who do you like?
You know I'm a Kansas City guy, and I'm always gonna bet on red. You're gonna win way more often than you lose if you roll with Kansas City, but I think the Ravens are gonna win this game.
Okay.
And it hurts me to say that the Ravens are gonna win this game, but Baltimore's offense is right. Like, if Buffalo is number 1, they might be number 2 in terms of just how excellent that offense has been so far this year. In Kansas City, defensively, they still have players and they have Spags, but they've kind of been middle of the road so far.
Yeah, they've looked terrible offensively. I mean, let's be honest about it. They did move the ball against the Giants in the second half, but it was against the Giants, and they didn't look great, really, in doing that. And you can say, I mean, they've got 2 quality losses to losing in Brazil to Los Angeles Chargers. There we go.
I'm not correcting you on that one.
I hear you. And then also, of course, losing to Philadelphia in a close game. No shame in that either. So I just think the Ravens have looked better so far this season. But I feel like the Ravens, boy, they've lost 2 of the toughest games this year. Certainly the first game in Buffalo, a game they should have won. I feel like they may have one of these years that is just snake bitten, and I'm going to take the Chiefs at home.
Yeah, and it's why, regardless of what happens, you shouldn't panic on the record of either of these teams. I mean, again, Baltimore's one field goal away from being 2-1. The Chiefs are 1 field goal away from being 2-1. Both teams are going to be in the playoffs. I don't care what hot take person says, are the Ravens going to miss the playoffs? No, both teams are going to be in the playoffs, probably going to win their divisions, and these games are more so kind of gauging where each stand against each other. Right now, Baltimore's the better team.
All right. Bears and Raiders, both of these teams amongst the most disappointing in the league so far. Raiders started off with a nice W to start the year, but they've looked bad in their last 2. The Bears, well, they've just looked bad completely. This game is in Vegas. Who do you like?
Well, Scott, I'm back in on the Bears and Caleb Williams again. After watching them just show out against the Cowboys, I'm back in on this team is going to be
Caleb Williams,
decent.
I think that was his best performance as a Bears quarterback.
Yeah, so 4 touchdowns tied his career high as a Bear. Passing, his QBR was like his second best of his career. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Bears are going to make the playoffs. I still think offensive line fundamentally has issues, all the stuff like that. But they're not going to be the 5-12 team that I think a lot of people were thinking they were headed towards when they were blowing losses against the Vikings and Ben Johnson's yelling in the preseason about how terrible their offense is. But they're going to beat the Raiders this week.
Geno Smith just hasn't looked good yet in a Raiders uniform. And I know, he's played for Pete Carroll and he had some good years up in Seattle, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears in this one, too. It's a toss-up game in my book here, but I'll go with Chicago.
So I know not everyone can listen all the time, but we
Sure.
did an in-depth Ashton Genty segment with Chris and Kayla this week. Scott, did you know that Ashton Genty this year, 101% of his rushing yards have been after contact this year? He has 144 rushing yards, 145 after first contact. He's rushed the ball, I think it's 42 times or 47 times. Twice he's gotten at least 5 yards without contact. The Raiders' offensive line is so bad, and that's probably why Geno Smith hasn't looked very good.
Well, the Cowboys' offensive line may not look good on Sunday night against the Packers with Micah Parsons coming back, too. Big D at home versus the Pack. The return of maybe the best defensive player in the league. What do you think?
The Packers are going to win. It's just more so how they're going to win, in my mind. I mean, if Micah Parsons gets a sack, it's going to create a very weird situation where Cowboys fans are cheering for the Packers sacking their quarterback. It's going to be so strange. And Green Bay is going to win because I think Green Bay is the better team by a good amount. But I'm curious to see what the Dallas offense tries to do to scheme against Green Bay with obviously no CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I like the Pack as well on the road. They are 6.5-point favorites. Monday night games, Jets and Dolphins, a battle of teams looking for their first win. I'm going to take the Dolphins at home.
I'm just going to say,
Hell no.
I will not be watching that game, just for let the record show. Still want to believe in Justin Fields, but it's probably Tyrod Taylor playing quarterback for the Jets. So I'll just go with the Jets.
All right. Bengals, Broncos to finish out the Monday night schedule. Denver, a team that could easily be 2-1 if it wasn't for a referee call late in that game at Indy. Bo Nix has been okay, not great. The Bengals, of course, playing Jake Browning after the injury to Joe Burrows. Didn't go well last week in Minnesota. There's not much reason to think it's going to go much better in Denver.
No, I don't think so, although I want to believe in Folsom's Jake Browning. This is kind of the same thing we did earlier with the Falcons. After I've seen you lose 48-3 to the Vikings, I'm just not going to believe in your team until further notice. 48-10.
Yes, they did get a touchdown.
With a garbage time touchdown at the end. Yes, I should give that.
Yes.
At least as a baseline, they did score at the very end. But no, the Broncos are going to win this game.
I think so too. All right, I've been saving this one. Niners and Jaguars, a game you'll hear right here on Sacktown Sports, beginning at noon, 1 o'clock kickoff. 49ers 3-0, the Jags 2-1. We know about the injuries. We're not necessarily sure about who's starting at quarterback. We know Bosa's out for the year. Can the Niners improve to 4-0 at home?
Yeah, just to very quickly go through this. Brock Purdy questionable, Mac Jones questionable, Ricky Pearsall questionable, Jawan Jennings was not practicing on Thursday, Diamador Lenore questionable, Renardo Green questionable, Jordan Watkins questionable, Connor Colby questionable. There are 11 players on injured reserve. I'm not going to list all of them. They include George Kittle and Nick Bosa. Just a pantheon of injuries for the 49ers. But I do think the 49ers will beat the Jaguars this week. Might be a last-second field goal, but I think they're going to win at home against Jacksonville.
Amazing thing, they're still 3.5-point favorites right now against the Jags, coming in much healthier. Trevor Lawrence, of course, is disappointed after coming out of Clemson. I did make the playoffs 1 year, but certainly has not lived up to the billing thus far. I like the Niners at home, too. I think Brock Purdy will end up starting that game. We'll see if that actually happens. McCaffrey's off to a good start. He's got to stay healthy, of course, but I'm going to take the Niners to go to 4-0, setting up a huge showdown in LA against the Rams next Thursday night.
All right, that's going to do it for our NFL picks. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll come back. We'll let you know everything else on the docket happening this weekend in sports in Sacramento. Scott Marsh filling in for Alan Stiles right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Report, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Joey Estes, out with that herniated disc in his lower back, is expected to return in 2026 after undergoing successful surgery in LA from Dr. Robert Watkins. Denzel Clark, out with that right adductor strain, expected to return in late September after going through a running and hitting progression in Arizona. That was your injury report, brought to you by DT LA Law Group.
Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Injured at work? Call Downtown. DT LA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DT LA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com. Text charges may apply.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space.
Groundworks, official foundation repair company of Cal Athletics. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Go on a culinary adventure at one of Europe's biggest food events coming to the Americas, Terra Madre. Discover more flavors to savor, more ideas to chew on, more voices shaping the future of food. Join chefs Alice Waters, Sean Sherman, and Jeremiah Tower for tastings, pop-ups, food demos, and panels, all celebrating good, clean, and fair food for all. Terra Madre Americas, September 26th through 28th in Sacramento. Savor the journey. Visit TerraMadreUSA.com for more details. Terra Madre Americas is supported by Sacramento International Airport and brought to you by Slow Food and Visit Sacramento.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back into the Alan Stiles Show here. Scott Marsh filling in. Again, Alan back on Monday. King's Media Day on Monday. We got you covered. Stay tuned all day long. On Monday, we'll be out there talking to all the players and coaches, getting you ready for the upcoming season. So, Kyle, I'll just throw it out there. If you had just one question that you could ask at Media Day on Monday, assuming you were going to be out there, one question to one person, what would it be?
I'm going to go with Malik Monk.
Yep, that's obvious.
But
right?
I'm going to need to think about the question, right? Because obviously you want to just be like, hey, your name's been in trade rumors a lot. What do you think? But you also don't want to just ask, do you want to be here, Malik? So anyways, I'd have to think about how I would word the question, but I would want to ask Malik Monk about the fact
Although,
that...
do you want to be here would be a pretty good question.
Yeah, but he'd be able to sidestep that question
Sure.
pretty easily. Because that's like, yes, of course I want to be here. But
Sure.
just kind of like his thoughts about being connected to trade rumors.
Yeah, Malik, as we know, he's pretty transparent. At least that's the way I've found him over the time here in Sacramento. So
I agree. This is just a very unique situation where they are still actively trying to trade him right now. But there's also a very high probability he's going to be at Media Day. Like with the Warriors, obviously they're going to ask all the players about the Kuminga situation, but they aren't going to get to talk to Kuminga on Monday, with all likelihood. I mean, if Kuminga plays it right, they'll play it out all the way to Wednesday or Tuesday. But with Malik, it's strange because he's been connected for so long, but he's also very likely going to be part of the team to start the season. So it's very strange dynamic, but that's the person of interest on Monday is Malik Monk.
no doubt. All right, Ryder Cup update. Europe is now ahead in 2 of the four balls. Cam Young and Justin Thomas, the lone team up for America. They're 5 up after 12. They're going to win that, get a point for the United States. But right now it's looking like a lean day for the American side as they're down 3-1 from the first round in the morning, and they could potentially go down further here in the afternoon session. Still time to get in on the program if you want to, 916-339-1140. Text us. We have enjoyed reading your text throughout the program here as well. Our thanks to Ken Korak coming on, talking all things A's. Garrett Johnston with our Ryder Cup update. And, of course, Scott Gordon, my broadcast partner for UC Davis football. A good discussion on what's going on in college football this weekend. How about what's going on in Sacramento sports this weekend? As we said, lots of stuff going on this weekend. Friday night always means Friday night lights, Friday night football. Are you a big high school football fan, Kyle?
I am not the biggest high school football person, although it's different for me because obviously I didn't grow up in the area. I'm transplant from San Diego, moved here to go to Davis, but I feel like I cared more about high school football when you had the rivalries and things like that. But over the years, I've started to learn bit by bit about what's going on. Also, high school basketball's been pretty fun. I've been to a couple of those games before, but I've never been able to get into high school football yet.
Football high school level is so big in this area. It is fantastic. There's always some great games going on in the area. And, of course, it's a wonderful night to get out and take in some football in the area.
First Friday of fall, baby.
It is. It was cold this morning.
It was. Oh, I love it.
Actually a little chilly. So, but anyways, so you've always got high school football to partake in tomorrow night. Of course, Sac State at home against Cal Poly. You've got UC Davis at home against Weber State. Big Sky openers for both teams. We'll have the Davis game right here beginning at 6:30 on Sacktown Sports. The Aggies looking for their 3rd win of the season. You've also got the Sac Republic in action. They'll be taking on Monterey there, 7 o'clock. And, of course, we've got the Jägermeister Cup coming up on October 4th for the Republic as well.
Next Saturday, they might win a trophy.
Which would be pretty cool. Obviously, they won the USL Cup in the first year, won the trophy. This would be a nice one to put in. The Jägermeister Cup is for all the USL squads.
Yeah, it's USL Division 1 and 2. Very cool tournament. It's kind of like their version of the in-season tournament, but with multiple leagues, and Sac Republic's in the championship, and it's here. It's in Sacramento next Saturday. It's going to be pretty cool.
That will be pretty cool. I know tickets are selling well, but you can still get tickets for that game. That will be a lot of fun. There's no doubt about that. Looking forward to having a chance to check out the Republic. You've got the A's at home, final series of the year, taking on Kansas City.
Have you seen the interesting giveaway they have tonight?
I know that it's the Sacramento pullover.
Yes, so pullover with the
the logos.
It's
not together.
Yes, it's the script that they used to do Oakland and still do the Athletics, but it says Sacramento on it, which I think is interesting that they've kind of snuck this in at the end, because what's the thing everyone's been saying all year?
We want Sacramento gear.
We want Sacramento A's gear, and the A's seem to be taking your feedback because apparently they've got Sacramento-based giveaways planned right now and headed into next year.
Are you heading out to a game this weekend?
I'm headed out there tonight, possibly Sunday as well. It's been fun getting to go to a handful of these games all season long, and yeah, it's just been a very unique experience, I'd say.
I hear you. All right, and then of course on Sunday, cap it off with the Niners at home to take on Jacksonville. And again, another game you'll hear here on Sacktown Sports beginning at noon. It's a 1 o'clock kick from Levi Stadium. The Niners, despite the injuries, they're 3-0, and that's what matters the most right now.
I think the 49ers are in such an interesting spot because all the way through you'd say, last year they had injuries and they kind of fell apart, but you keep looking at this schedule and there's so many easier or winnable games throughout their schedule that it always is going to keep them in, no matter whether you lose Bosa, Kittle, Purdy, Ayuk, Juwan Jennings. We can literally keep going for, I think, 15 more names, and they're always still going to have a chance because of the quality of the stars that are out there, McCaffrey and Trent Williams and Fred Warner, but also the quality of their opponents are not as strong.
No doubt. And I think it's a big one for them to get because it gives them a little buffer next week going down to have to take on the Rams, which is going to be a tough game for them, no doubt about it. The Rams 2-1. They've got Indy at home this week. That won't be a walkover, but the Rams are favored in that one. It could set up a game with the Niners at 4-0 and the Rams 3-1.
Well, you've got the Rams right there on short week, and then
Seattle's already 3-1.
Seattle's already gotten to 3. The Rams, we mentioned they're playing Indiana Jones and the Colts, but we'll see how that ends up going out. But not even just the next game. It's this game, Rams on a short week, and then they've got at Tampa Bay coming off the long week as well. So this is the part of the schedule where they have to play those first-place teams.
Yeah, no doubt that the schedule gets a little tougher than it has been so far for the 49ers, but they've got an excellent chance at home to get this all done. So that's, a lot of stuff going on this weekend, and that's what's great about this time of year. Everything's crossing over, and then on Monday, we've got Kings again.
We've got Kings. We're going to have the start of the baseball playoffs, which, hey, your Dodgers finally are going to have to play in the wild card round for once. Join the schmucks in the rest of the league.
They'll most likely be playing the Mets, and for a wild card series, anytime you've got LA and New York, I know it's not the Yankees, but still, that's big.
I mean, you're still facing a team that for most of the season was sitting in first place. I know they're falling apart now, but you've still got. This is crazy. They were in Sacramento earlier this year. You've got your front of the order that is literally worth $1.2 billion with Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor.
No doubt. The Mets have the talent to pull it off. There's no question. And in a 3-game series, anything can happen.
Oh, of course. And the Dodgers feel good about their pitching. The Mets don't feel good about their pitching. No. So we'll see how it ends up going. But anyways, so baseball playoffs are going to start. Kings. Jason Ross brought this up. We're 12 days away from preseason Kings games.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so preseason's going to be here. And like you said, all the sports kind of intersect. We just mentioned it a second ago. The Republic are playing for a trophy next Saturday. It's just all sorts of stuff intersecting at the same time, right in this 3-week window.
Best time of year. And, of course, we didn't even mention it, but the biggest card show in Sacramento going on this weekend as well. When we come back, we're going to crosstalk. We'll talk to the Drive guys. We'll get Imran Palati on as well. We'll see about that. It's a big card show going on at the fairgrounds in Roseville. They'll be out there broadcasting this afternoon from there. We'll finish things up when we come back. It's Scott Marsh filling for Alan Stiles right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-292-4382. That's 800-292-4382. 800-292-4382.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say, we can beat that price, and usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company, American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered flex steel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Brought to you by Xfinity. Sports are unpredictable. The price of your internet shouldn't be. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One consistent internet price for 5 years with no annual contracts. Guaranteed.
It's Friday, Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the
Live and local
It's Alan Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
Final segment of the Alan Stiles Show right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Getting you ready for the Drive Guys on remote today from the Sacramento Card Show at the fairgrounds in Roseville. We will be talking shortly with the guys out there. We can tell you the USA did pick up a point in the Ryder Cup as Justin Thomas, Cam Young close out their four-ball match. So it's 3-2 now, but it's not looking good for the USA. They are down in all other three matches, including Scotty Scheffler and J.J. Spawn. They're 3 down to Rahm and Straka. That's through 14. So most likely the Americans are going to give up a point there. Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Rose are 1 up on Ben Griffin and Bryson DeChambeau through 14. Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry 1 up on Sam Burns and Patrick Cantlay. That is through 12. So not a good start for the USA team. They were hoping for a lot more early on with the crowd behind them in New York, back on American soil, trying to regain the Ryder Cup. Hasn't gone their way. Team Europe just seems to have their way in the Ryder Cup right now. So
there's always 2033 in Olympic Club.
Yes, there is 8 years away. Of course, there'll be 3 other Ryder Cups in between that.
Yeah, but it seems like Europe's kind of got a stronghold on this thing, huh?
At the moment, it's really early. Have to say that, too. What happens in day one, unless it's just a ridiculous blowout, plenty of time to catch up for the American side.
Well, you said there's, 40 points to be earned, and we're only 28 points to be earned, and we're only
8 through at the end of today. Right now, only 5 points have been awarded.
Exactly. So long way to go. But I know Scott Marsh is going to be locked in all weekend on the Ryder Cup.
Oh, there's a lot going on. There's a ton of college football tomorrow that I want to watch. Of course, I've got the Davis broadcast tomorrow night. Plenty of NFL football on Sunday. So I'll watch Ryder Cup, but it'll be part of a split screen.
Yeah, I understand how that works this time of year. There's every event, but the last week of September going into October, every sport kind of has some sort of event going on because this is the window of time that everyone wants to have something happening.
Yep, we've got the Cubs game on. I know you're watching that. Being a San Diego fan, the Padres are going to be in Wrigley to take on the Cubbies.
If Whitey were here, he would tell you all about the left-handed pitching for the Cubs. It's going to be a problem for the Padres.
How about the Cubs jerseys? We're talking about jerseys. First time I've seen it. They've kind of got their light blue Tahoe look, similar to what UC Davis is rolling out tomorrow night.
What are your thoughts as the voice of UC Davis? I know there was kind of a mixed reaction to the Tahoe blue jerseys, but I think they're really cool. I didn't know if they were going to wear it like once, twice, whatever, but I thought they were very cool.
Yeah, all the sports are going to be wearing them. I think they're awesome. I love them. And, I think the bigger thing is there's a little rivalry thing now with Nevada because Nevada has their Tahoe jerseys too, and they feel like they own Lake Tahoe. But as I remind everybody, most of Lake Tahoe is in California. It's not in Nevada.
Yeah, Davis is laying claim to Lake Tahoe. I just thought it was cool to do alternate jerseys. I know over the years Davis has gone to this kind of blue and white color, which is a little different than other UC schools. So I just think the fun alternate jerseys are always cool.
I think they're cool, and the players love it. That's the biggest thing.
No, they do.
That's, it all started with Oregon and with Phil Knight and having 400 different jersey combinations, and that's just become the way of college sports. Now, I don't like all of it. I'm kind of traditional in some senses. There's some I do like more than others. I do like the look of these Davis-themed jerseys, and I like the Tahoe theme with it. If you were to ask me like Maryland football jerseys and what they've done to that, I would say no. So it's not uniform that I love the themed jerseys all the time, but I think the players love it. That's the most important thing. It's a recruiting tool as much as anything else.
Well, you mentioned Oregon and how they constantly change the jerseys.
They started it.
Yeah, and that was kind of their gimmick, right? It was the Nike advertising thing. But I loved, we had Scott Gordon on earlier, and he made the joke that, Oregon kind of has the choice to wear white jerseys if they want to for the Penn State whiteout, because Penn State's got, blue, white,
white. Sure, they'll have the dark tops on.
Yeah, exactly. So Oregon has a chance to do funny things all the time with the jersey combinations, which, to your point, when you've got unlimited Nike money in this new landscape of college football, you can do pretty much whatever you want and build a powerhouse like Oregon has.
There's no question. And a lot of people, took offense to what Oregon was doing, but now everybody else is trying to do the same thing, basically.
Well, this is the thing in the NBA, right? The NBA does the city edition jersey thing every year, and baseball is leaning into it a little bit, but they only do it like every 5 years, right? The teams have the same city connect jersey.
It explained to me, again, looking at some of the city jerseys, and you're a Padres fan, I just can't ever get the look of what the Padres are trying to do with some of their city jerseys.
Yeah, you're talking about the like pink one?
Yes.
It's funky and fun.
Do you like it?
I thought it was cool. I didn't buy one, but it was a cool concept. I mean, if I'm just generally in favor of doing things different than
Have
other
you
teams.
liked the Giants city jerseys?
Those ones I didn't care for too much.
Either. Yeah,
but
not a fan.
You're gonna throw things out there and you're gonna strike out sometimes. Like
true,
but with the NBA, if you strike out, you just got another one next year. I mean, we still have the Keegan Murray one hanging up in the studio from last year, and now they've gone to no more red, no more blue. We're gonna go with purple or violet is going to be the color scheme for this year. So if one doesn't work, you can just roll out the next one the next year.
Very true. All right, last few minutes, your thoughts when we come back from the weekend. What's it going to look like Monday out of King's Media Day?
Whew. Well, I have no idea what Alan is going to say after 3 weeks of having his microphone be cut, but I'm excited to talk to all the players at some point. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, is that these guys are so interesting, but a lot of their personality doesn't get to show because they've been media trained and they don't get to do this or that. But Media Day is kind of the one day where they encourage you to just be silly and be fun. And, we're going to get to talk to a lot of the players. I know Alan really wants to talk to Maxime Reynaud, so we're going to get our first chance to do that. And hopefully we'll get to talk to him throughout the year. But
Alan doesn't speak French, does he?
He does not, but that's his guy, so he's going to...
Smart guy, too. Very, very thoughtful, very interesting to talk to. I can understand that. And I'd love to know just his background with Wemby and how close they are and everything else.
That's a great question. You know what, Scott? I'm going to jot that down here for us when we get our Maxime
I think that would be the
interview.
sequel for your Spurs book.
I mean,
Part
just
two.
Just the French connection,
Exactly.
I mean, we'll see what ends up happening with the Spurs, too. I mean, even if they, we don't talk about this enough. They haven't made the playoffs in 7 years. The ship is turning around, but even that organization, it took a while to kind of get things going in the right direction again. And I encourage people to think about that when they talk about the Kings going to the bottom in the future. It's it can take a long time for that ship to kind of get turned around. So,
well, it helps getting a number one pick.
And Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper and some organization we don't have to talk about just handing you an all-NBA point guard, it makes life a lot easier.
So, all right. So we've got that on Monday. Lots of good stuff upcoming. As we said, the Drive guys are out at the Sports Card Show out in Roseville, and that'll be a lot of fun over the next few hours. That's a big show. And if you're a sports memorabilia collector, you want to get out there.
This is the Imran Super Bowl, as I'm calling it. The Imran Pilates Super Bowl is going on this weekend, and they always do fun stuff. I've gotten a chance to be part of a bunch of the True Sports Cards activities and events they've put on. He always does great stuff, and this is kind of the big Super Bowl weekend for all the sports cards and collectible stuff. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm going on Saturday. I'm excited to see what this all is going to look like put together.
Yep. So stay tuned for that. They'll have all the information on that coming up next. It's been a lot of fun filling in today. Again, a reminder, we've got UC Davis football coming your way tomorrow evening, 6:30. Coaches show, 7 o'clock kick from UC Davis Health Stadium right here on Sacktown Sports. And of course, we've got the Niners on Sunday, and that'll be a noon broadcast start time, 1 o'clock kick from Levi Stadium, and all the other NFL games, the Sunday night game coming your way as well. It's been fun filling in for Alan. He'll be back on Monday. Thanks for listening. For Kyle Ledbetter, I'm Scott Marsh. Stay tuned. Coming up next, the Drive guys coming to you live from the Sports Card Show out in Roseville. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy your sports weekend. And, of course, make sure to participate in your favorite sport over the weekend. The weather is supposed to be pretty good. It's going to be rainy early next week, so get out this weekend. Have some fun. Take in your favorite activity. I'll be watching some Ryder Cup, some college football as well. We just hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday. Allie Will from Golden One Center. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Don't forget my podcast.
Gotta go.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball